welcome into another Tuesday night evening blend number 77. I am Pop Blender, and with me as always is the Robotron, Matthew Matson.
Well, now this is Robot Head.
Oh, Robot Head.
I'm guest hosting tonight.
Now, your Australian accent, not bad. I'll give you credit for effort. A for effort, or E for effort, actually.
E, maybe.
I got to tell you, man, what great, oh no, camera, great cut, or great reference for you because, dude, Robot Head.
He killed it with his video
For those of you that don't know, Robot Head is a great creator from Australia. He is fantastic. He's been on the Critical Drinkers stream at Open Bar, but he was well on his way far before that. Been watching him for a few years now, and he's awesome. He's awesome. So if you guys want to look him up, Robot Head on YouTube, he's really good, really funny, and his videos, Matthew, really are not that long.
No, they're not
right
long
to the
videos.
point.
Yeah,
right to the point. There you go, having a cup of Joe. Hey, right there with you. Well, I guess nobody can see that.
This is
right there.
This is Bob freaking Breakin, the guy who designed the Robo Skull.
Bobby freaking Breakin.
This is one of the guys from Skeletron who is, I think, it's not Ben. It's one of the guys who's in charge. And so this character is called the Red Weasel, which was made before we had a Wild Weasel, because in Action Force, the figure that came with the Robo Skull at one point in time was a Wild Weasel port to Action Force, and they called him Red Weasel.
Okay.
For the Red Shadows. And then you've got the standard Wolf Trooper.
Okay. Now is this the now those are customs, right? Are these the Crimson?
Nope.
No.
These are the Skeletron Robo Skull figures.
Okay.
So
okay.
I've got one more
roll.
shipment from Skeletron coming in, and that's the book and the actual Skeletron figure, and then this stand glows in the dark. He comes with a glow in the dark head, and this is each one of these figureheads are tribute figures essentially. This gentleman here is Gary Head, or Gary Goggles Head, because he always wore these goggles on his head.
Okay.
And he always wore like the silver outfit, and so his code name on his tank was Gyri Viper or Gyri Viper. I'm not sure how he said it, but that's what they named this is Gyri Wolf. And so they gave him his own figure. And then the creators of the Robo Skull got their figure, and then they did another tribute figure for. Hang on,
we're not done.
Oh, I don't have that one.
Oh crap!
But they did another tribute figure for one of the big toy store guys who passed away this last year, and so they did a 3 3/4 O-ring figure for him, and they called the Yeti, and all the for the Gary figure and for the Yeti figure, all proceeds from those figures go back to the families.
Nice.
And so when Gary passed away, his wife, he's younger than me, and he was shoveling snow in Chicago, and he had a heart attack. And that got a bunch of people in the community to get healthy, get thinking about stuff. And then a lot of people donated to his widow and child for their future, because they were in some difficult times and they weren't sure what to do. So we all chipped in and helped out that way too. And they did a Joe Declassified as a historical preservation kind of group, and they did a tribute figure called Sightline. And later Hasbro picked up that figure and made Sightline in the 50th anniversary, and gave proceeds back to the family for that as well. So Gary was a huge influence on the online community in the early 2000s, and it's always good to remember him and help support that group of people, because they're good people.
Nice. Well, I can tell you that I don't have anything that exciting, nor supporting anybody other than Skybound, I guess. Comic. I did grab issue number 322. All right, issue 322. There's a little snow job on the front, iceberg, and Well, somebody, you tell me. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah.
But, I did pick up a special cover um, of the G.I. Joe Energon universe.
That's a cool cover.
Yeah, and what's cool about this cover is that it's got the bullet holes, and then when you open it up, you get your dreadnoughts.
That's cool.
Pretty neat. I saw that, and then the newest issue of Transformers. So can't wait to read those. Going to dig into those bad boys here.
So for the regular version that
man.
you got there, I got the one of the alternate covers, the one that I actually did action figure photography for, with the Skyhawk with Duke hanging off of it.
Yep. Looks
So
great.
I did that with action figure photography, and so I had to
Nice.
pick that version, that cover up, because I'm like, that one's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it looked good. They had it, but I saw this one, and I was like, I'll pay the extra $2. I don't usually do that, but I'll pay the extra $2. And but it's been good. I've been enjoying it. Transformers has kind of introduced a new faction. For those of you that haven't read it yet or caught up yet, you may be very interested actually in what they're doing with the Energon universe and with that Transformers comic. But I found them interesting. I'm enjoying it. So look, we got a few things to go over. We've got a few things to review and talk about. Couple stories here and there. I'll kind of, I sent several to myself. Some of them we can move through quickly. But at the end is a topic that I brought up Sunday night on my stream by myself. And I wanted to kind of bounce it back and forth with you about movies today, and not just today, but in the last, I guess, modern 2000s-ish, era, to the films of old. And maybe tenets, and when I say tenets, I mean like certain things that are missing today that we found in those films back then. I'm not saying there weren't some bombs and there weren't some stinkers back in the day. We all know that.
Right.
But as a whole, we got a lot more diverse films as far as at the box office, not just action tent poles, but we got comedies every month. We got romantic movies, we got dramas, we got, it was just everybody would remember the days where you'd go to the movies and just see what's playing or hang out at the mall and then go, yeah, let's go see that. Those days are kind of over. Right now, and it's a plan. It's like going to the ballpark with a family. You know you're going to spend $150 at the movies. Yeah. Of course, at the ballpark you're going to spend probably $450, but that's a whole different ballgame. But anyway, so I want to get to that topic. Yeah, I know, literally, with you later.
Yep.
But first and foremost, at least let's say hello to a few people that have rolled in here now, and as people come in, I will do my best to try to hit everybody up as they come in. Cage's Customs, what's up, buddy? Sending me great memes and Instagram reels all the time.
Always, yeah.
Dude, no doubt about it. Christopher Pine, 5129. I like that.
I think that's Pinot.
Okay.
I don't think that's Pine.
Oh, my bad. Well, my bad. I was... Well, if you've ever used StreamYard, you don't have to click something. When you hover over it, it kind of changes. You're right. Actually, it's Christopher Pineo 5129. So
well, it's not, but it has been lately. Yes, but he's a friend of mine, Facebook digital friend.
Sweet.
From way back in the day, from the Gary Goggles Head days.
Okay, so now I get that link there. He did have a question about him, asking. He said they're huge. Are they 6-inch figures? I assume that they are.
Yeah, all of those that I showed off were the 6-inch versions. They made the 4-inch versions also. The 4-inch versions have been out for a little while. The only way to get the Bob Breakin was with the base Robo Skull, a regular one. The only way to get the Red Weasel was with the special edition Robo Skull. Okay. And then they didn't make a character pack, but the Gary head figure, they have this in 4-inch version as well. That was standard issue with the Robo Skull. So if you got the Robo Skull, you had options for these as well.
Okay. Which seems like everyone got the Robo Skull. At least everyone,
not everyone,
but me. Mendoza.
It's an incredible piece of engineering. The toy
And
that they
and
made is,
you've done some awesome photographs with it
but
too,
so,
obviously.
and that's why I showed it first, because the armored faceplate that is in front of it, it was part of this delivery today. So that's the
Oh, okay.
the heavy armor package that covers up the skull face on it.
Um, well, and actually, one of them I'll show here in a little while. One of the pictures we've used it as a background before, and it's fantastic. Menjoza, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you, man. Sabir is in the house. Love Sabir. Todd C,
What's
what
up?
up, dude? Let's see. Let me scroll down a little bit. Okay, Hunter Iggy, 2762. I know YouTube has changed the way that people show up. So if I've got that right, if there's another name, or sometimes what happens, Matthew, is we have people that we've known for a while, and then they have a different handle. So I just want
Yeah.
to make sure I got that
Yep.
right. But welcome in, very much so. Says Pop Blender, why don't they keep James Gunn DCU as the main timeline, and Zack Snyder-Verse as Elseworld, and instead of canceling the DCU for just the Zack Snyder-Verse. So we're going to get into that a little bit too, because I have something pulled up for that. I am curious to see what's going to happen. Those rumors have been out there that if there is a sale to whomever, whether it's Saudi Arabia or Comcast or Paramount, right? That James Gunn is done, and that would be a
Well,
very short stint.
well,
If that is
I don't
is
think
the
he's
case.
done. I think he's on a super short leash. Unfortunately, what he's got in
Sure.
production isn't going to cut it. So,
We've talked about that, and we will talk about that a little bit here coming up, because I do have something from the trades that is quite interesting. And then real quick, I did want to I did want to hit this up because I feel so bad. If let's see, let me hit it real quick. Come on, there we go. So Christopher says I shoveled snow from that storm a while later. It passed through Boston. I feel bad for anyone that has to shovel snow on a regular basis in the winter. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. And Pinio, that's how we're going to say it. That's how I'm going to say it. Turk Murphy's Toy Solutions, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you, man. Brogu's back. What's up,
what's up?
Brogu? Heck yeah. Okay, good. Let's get it rolling. As we always do, we will jump right into the box office. Now, it's
Who won the
been
box office? Oh my gosh, this is the best movie of the year. I mean, the
oh,
week. I
just
mean,
wait.
the day.
Just
I
wait.
mean,
Just
wait.
you wait.
Just wait.
I have an interesting little Facebook thing that I came across about Predator Badlands,
Oh
and I
boy.
thought it was quite funny. So now you see me, now you don't. What is this? Three,
Three.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. 22 mil domestic, 4 days in release. It's top of the box office.
Oh
I
wait,
don't.
so it's not Badlands? Oh my.
It's not. It's not, and that's gonna tie in here in a second. I promise you. So that's the thing. Like, for me is that here we are, right? We've got a sequel, a threequel, right? We've got the third in the franchise, I guess you could say. I don't
Yep.
know what else you could add to this other than like a TV show that starts to run out of gas and jumps the shark. They add like the child or the baby
Or the dog.
or the dog. This is,
Yeah.
as we say hello to Clint,
What's up, Clint?
shoveling snow for exercise. Hey, you get that exercise, buddy. I don't know what more you can add to this other than adding a younger cast,
Yeah.
who then the older cast has to help out as we kind of maybe move this to a new generation. Could have done it with Star Wars.
Well, but I mean, they had modernity on their side, so they
That's
decided
true.
not to.
Just like Predator Badlands. But anyway,
Well,
um, so now you see me, now you don't. Three, The Running Man coming in at number 2 with a
yeah.
paltry 17 million after 4 days of release domestically, and I will give a review of that. Did you get an opportunity to see it?
To see that, no.
That's okay.
I've got to really pick and choose what I go and see these days. I think my wife wanted to see something that's coming out soon.
That's okay. Don't rush, Matthew. Don't
Yeah.
walk. I want you to crawl to go see this movie
So
now.
so Sarah's Oil and Rental Family are the ones that she really wants to see. So
Okay.
we're gonna see those.
Now, Christopher, tell me if this is the one you're talking about. As far as everybody loved it, I thought it was, just thought it was okay. If this is the one you're talking about, as far as the movies we've referenced so far, yeah. Look, internationally, it did about 11 million, but nonetheless, well, we'll get into it. How about that?
Yeah,
Number
yeah.
three, Predator: Badlands, coming in at 66 mil domestic, 11 days in release. It had a huge drop off. I think we predicted that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, the Friday to Friday drop off was
Ooh.
massive, and then the overall drop off was not good, but it kind of recovered a little bit. But
I mean,
78,
74% versus last week
yeah,
drop off.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
huge.
So Friday to Friday was 78%. It was nuts.
And there's reasons for that, I think, because once people saw it, they probably didn't tell anybody, hey, you gotta go see this.
Yeah, yeah. There's no
So
word of mouth on this movie. Nobody who's seen
yeah.
it is saying, "Hey, it's really great. Go see it." There's some people who are saying it's okay, and there's some people that are saying it's the best Predator movie ever, and nobody's listening to those people.
Yeah, it's I mean, I can't wait to get into it. I'm not
I
gonna
saw one
just
person say, "I've never given a Predator movie a 10 out of 10, but this one gets it."
Oh,
And I'm like,
stop it.
I saw that. I
Stop it.
saw that post today, and I'm like, "Wow, how old are you? Have you never seen a Predator movie?"
Okay, so this post is from the 15th. Okay, but I saw this come across my Facebook feed. Predator: Badlands hits a major box office milestone in record time, and it's great for the franchise's future. And then
Except they didn't adjust for inflation.
right now, I'm not gonna sit here and go through this, but what I will go through is the top of this. It says after 1 week in theaters, Predator: Badlands now stands at 51.5 million domestically, unadjusted for inflation. It's already outgrossed Predator 2, Aliens versus Predator Requiem, and The Predator, the first one. Badlands is on the verge of passing Predators and is quickly approaching the lifetime total of the original Predator. Okay, The Predator, my bad, that's a sequel. Then the original at 59 million, meaning it's close to becoming the highest grossing solo Predator movie of all time. This is extremely misleading.
It's a load of horse hockey. I mean, there's nothing
Yeah.
true about anything that they're saying because they don't understand math.
Right.
They don't understand simple math. They don't understand how inflation works. They don't understand how ticket sales works because so many fewer people have seen this movie, right?
Bingo.
And I mean, ticket prices are so high, the box office has to go up because fewer people are seeing it. And this is, we're going to talk about that later. But yeah,
Yeah, we will. But you're right. Movies cost more money. Fewer tickets are being sold. So what the original Predator did at 59 million is far more meaningful.
yeah.
And headlines like this trick people all the time. It kills me.
Right,
when they
because
do
59 million, you have to adjust for inflation to put that in today's money to actually
Oh,
understand
gosh.
what happened. And then you also have to put the production budget in play too, because you have to realize that they did this on a nickel and dime budget when they
Right.
created this Predator movie,
Right.
the first one.
This
And
was $108 million
well,
movie.
I don't know, somewhere between 104 and 106 is what they're
Sure.
projecting.
Sure, but 100 mil. Let's
Yeah.
just throw that out there. So yeah, once you and I think our audience is definitely they know and they've heard us talk about it. You can't go by these headlines and believe what you see because at this point, Matthew, every movie that comes out is the biggest
It's the
movie.
biggest movie.
And when
ever.
they're all sequels and reboots and remakes, they're going to trumpet that
Yep.
every single time to try to get as many people to come out and see it.
Yep.
Stu for lunch, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you, man. So I had to share that just for a second. Now we'll move through the rest of these quickly. And as Christopher says, 3 people told me it was the best one they saw in a while.
Well, okay, in a while, what is a while?
Three people.
Because ostensibly Prey was better than this one because Prey was made by Fox before the Disney acquisition, although it was distributed by Disney and Disney didn't want to put it in theaters, so
Right.
they just put it straight to streaming on Hulu, which was another mistake. And
Okay.
and also, Christopher, just to catch you up on a previous chat that you made there, do not ever worry about derailing the chat. The chat's going to do what the
Oh
chat
no,
does.
no!
So
Don't worry about it.
and I knew what you were talking about, and that's fine. You're good, bro.
Yeah, definitely do not worry about that at all. That's for sure. And and being completely honest, don't even worry about it. I've had people try to before.
Oh yeah.
But you are definitely not one of them, and don't worry about it. War Chest is here. Just got home from watching Running Man, Hard Pass. Yeah, we're gonna
Oh
get into
yeah,
that.
we're gonna talk about that too.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see here. And Brogu says, hadn't seen Badlands, but I don't think it even come close to the original Predator movie. I talked about that, and we're going to get into that later as well, is that it's just, you just need to see it to believe it, and you get it. You know it. It's you see it, and you know it when you see it. And
it is so full of Disney, current Disney tropes. It's not even funny. It's like every single Disney movie that has been made in the last 10 years is in this.
Yep.
The merchandising characters, the voice of reason who's disabled and strapped to the back, who's whispering in your ear the whole time, your conscience, Jiminy Cricket or whatever you want to call it. It's the movie is paint by numbers Disney, and it just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. So Nuremberg coming in at 4.
Dude, I want to see that. I've heard good things about that one.
I have too, but it's not something, not huge wide release, only 18 theaters. Regretting You by Paramount coming in at 5. Sarah's Oil at 6, which you talked about your wife wanting to go see.
Yeah.
That's Amazon, MGM, and a faith-based movie, right?
Yeah.
And based on a true story. Keeper number 7, Black Phone number 2, Chainsaw Man, the movie anime. After almost a month, probably internationally crushing it. And then Bugonia
Chainsaw Man did well for its budget and everything else.
If you just look at the international box office
Yeah.
and the domestic, you can see there it's well over double, almost triple.
Yep.
And that makes sense. But I mean, animes have doing very well this year, as we've seen,
Yep.
and so yeah, man. All right, so that's the box office. Nothing too crazy exciting, but it does help kind of lead into to some of our conversation later. We did reference the last couple of weeks that October's been really low. It's like 3 decades low. And so that's kind of where we stand at the moment, with maybe a couple other things coming out at the end of the year. Nothing that's going to break the bank, right? Not that I can imagine. And really quickly, using a widget to populate the comments of the screen, it is all in one. It's a built-in kind of system that you can pay for or use for free. And it guides you through all that, and it's actually pretty easy to use once you get the hang of it, Christopher. So if you have any questions, man, you're always more than welcome to ask them, and I can, put my Instagram in here or whatever. If you ever have any questions, I'll be glad to walk you through if I can. Bobby Wold is in the house. What's up, Bobby Wold going on? I honestly can't remember the last time I had an urge to go to movie theaters to watch a movie other than Top Gun Maverick. Worth seeing in the theater.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I still have it ingrained in me to go to the theater to see movies. I've always been the one who wants to support those people who I appreciate. And when something's good and I know it's good, I want to go support them in the most obvious way possible. And you going to the theater is to support those creators who made that product, who are doing of quality work. And that's why I support some of the Kickstarters I do. That's why I support some of the artists and things like that I do. And so that's why I love going to the theater, is also because it's still an incredible experience. I don't care what you say. Most human beings are not going to be able to have a 50-foot screen in their home, right, to watch movies.
Right.
So you're never going to get that full experience, and the audience too. The audience is part of the deal,
I
and
think
I
part of
always
the
appreciate that.
I mean, obviously we've talked about the problem is now is that you can get the experience in your home.
Close
And I,
to,
and yeah, as close as you can. I mean, look, I
yeah,
know the screen's not as great, but in the day and age now of let's bring this camera in a little bit. As in the day of age of surround sound and whatnot, great home studios and things of that nature. It's really got to be something special to get people to want to go out and spend that money. So it's difficult. I think that they it's an uphill battle. We've seen now that even production, which is leaving Los Angeles in droves, is now leaving Georgia. Right,
yeah.
like even Georgia's drying up. So it's a big deal, man. It's a big deal. And Clint, post COVID, the Von Erich bio.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. We all have those ones that were like no exceptions.
Yeah,
But I'm not gonna lie to you. I've found myself more and more, and I hate it, more and more finding alternative routes. And however, to see the things I think you and I discussed that is not that good.
yeah,
If it's something I really want to see and I want to support somebody, then I'm going to go see it. But
yep,
the stuff that I think and I pretty much know is bad,
yeah.
I'm good. And
Remember
I'll,
when
I'll figure out how to
HBO
watch it.
remember when HBO took it as a huge badge of honor that they were the most pirated Game of Thrones was the most pirated show in the entire planet.
Yeah, yeah,
They took it as a badge of honor, saying so many more people are signing up for HBO. They're watching HBO. They're sharing it. They're stealing it, sure, but they're sharing it, and people are watching it, and then people are buying HBO subscriptions because of this show. I mean, that show was so on fire. They took it as this is a
unbelievable.
compliment when you pirate it. Well,
Hmm.
there are some things that you shouldn't take as a compliment if it's pirated, and other things that
I
maybe you
agree.
should.
No. I agree. I think that in a lot of ways it is a compliment. Now I will say when it comes to going to the movie theater, I equate it like going to a football game or a
Yeah,
basketball game. At an arena, it's like church. That's the way I equate it. Everybody's there for the same reason.
right.
They're rooting on the team, or they're all there from all different makes and models, all different backgrounds, all different monetary backgrounds, and everyone's there in this house of worship, so to speak, to enjoy something they love. And
Yeah.
and there's something to be said for that shared experience with people who are there for the same reason you are. And unfortunately, we have a whole generation of people growing up who really don't know what that experience is like.
Yeah, I mean, their entire experience is based off of the Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and their social interaction is not the same as what we had when we had to go out in the sunlight and actually play and touch grass and
Yeah.
do that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's a different world for sure.
But you also were able to go take a chance at the movie theater, and chances are you were going to find something that you could go see,
Yeah.
and it wasn't a wasted trip, right?
Yeah.
But that is something I definitely want to get into in a little while, because I think those are all factors, and you guys are bringing up great points and memories, like Brogu and Christopher Pinio saying, hey, like I love being there. People going crazy. Going to see Star Wars as a kid was a
Oh,
big
yeah.
event, right?
I mean,
Um,
I think about going to movie premieres and waiting in line and that kind of stuff. I mean, we got press passes for a lot of things back in the day, so that was a little bit different. But I remember buying those tickets in '99 to go see Episode One and waiting in line with all these
oh
people
yeah,
dressed up
man.
and wrapped around the corner, and everybody's loving Star Wars. And then you get in and watch the movie, and then you're like, "What just happened?"
Yeah. I've recounted many times, especially with Star Wars. Those were midnight showings that I
Yeah.
went to with my cousin down south, and yeah, that was an event for us for sure. I can't tell you the last time I went to a midnight showing was probably a Star Wars movie, maybe a Marvel one, but I can't recall.
Yeah.
All right, so look, let's let's bring up a couple news stories that I found interesting. Hopefully, you guys will also find them. One of them in particular with the Running Man, and it has to do with not only the current one, but also the previous one. Per Hollywood Reporter, original Running Man writer reacts to Glenn Powell movie's soft opening. I was rooting for it. Excuse me. However, Stephen E. D'Souza says critics have had issues with the endings for both his 1987 version and the new reboot. Quote, something went wrong between the page and the stage again. Basically, to me, okay, well, go right ahead. You go right ahead.
I'm just going to throw this out there. Not all books can be translated to film well.
Exactly.
Right? And Stephen King is one of those writers that you can't translate most of his stuff just to film well because of how he writes suspense, the way he writes characters, the way he writes that internal monologue, the way that he writes his books doesn't lend itself well to film adaptations. And we've seen this over and over again. And you've got The Shining, which so many people love that movie and think it's great. Stephen King hated it so much that he made it a faithful adaptation TV series that no one watched and everyone hated because it was terrible. Because when you do a direct translation, it doesn't quite work. Yeah. And so some things are better in the written form than they are in the visual form. So
I would say most people will agree with you, and also even take it a step further and say most things in the written form are better. And I think the reason why a lot of people say that is because A, it is hard to translate that to the screen. B, your imagination does so much heavy lifting with a lot of stuff that I think most people get more satisfaction, personal satisfaction of reading a book and doing that heavy lifting in your mind. And then when you go see something, it either doesn't live up to that, right? Or it looks cheesy, corny, right? Whatever. But D'Souza basically was commenting that the critiques of the new one remind him of the original. Yeah. And, he read the new script. He hasn't seen the movie yet, but he says even the reviews that love it say it stumbles at the end. Well, I will tell you guys whether that's true or not. It seems to me this time around something went wrong between the page and the stage again. And he also comments the book's ending is a downer, so you need a new ending. Right. I think that's a lot of what happens with a lot of these books is that you don't want to leave movie audiences walking out of the theater on a sour note. Right. You want them to feel uplifted at the end.
Yeah, I mean, and generally that's been Hollywood's motif. They rarely want to play the downbeat at the end because it doesn't serve for rewatchability. It doesn't serve for getting people excited to talk about it with other people unless it has something positive at the end.
And to hit up a couple comments here too, quickly before the one you have starred. Stu for Lunch says, here's a question. Do kids or young people go on dates anymore? Like is a dinner and a movie still or a thing still? Interesting question. I'd have to say far fewer than it was for us.
Yeah, it does happen. It does happen, but it is not the same.
Netflix and chill took the place of dinner. And
honestly, the people that are of the young, late teens, early 20s, they're all about the least hassle, the better. Mm-hmm. So they're all about texting to find out if it's a good match for them to even meet in person first, and then they're going to do the least offensive kind of most distancing thing that they can do with the other person, and going to a movie and dinner is kind of intimate. So they're going to do something else. They're going to go to a concert, or they're going to go get coffee, or they're going to, maybe they'll go back into somebody's place and chill or whatever, and just hang out, because that's what I see them doing more than what we traditionally did.
It's a different world. I mean, it is. It happens. Our parents, right? Their parents watched things progress, and it was a different world to them. Let's see. Christopher also says, I heard they don't make comedies as much anymore. That is true, and it's because they don't draw in the money, but you can make money with comedies.
Yes.
But the problem is the comedies haven't been able to be made in the last 10, 15 years because of the subject matter. The
Right.
jokes that you can make have been
So,
condensed down.
so comedies are inexpensive, right? So they can make them incredibly cheap. So you can make a profit off of comedies, and you can make quite a bit of profit off of comedies if you make a bunch of them, and
absolutely.
they're good and they bring people into the theaters. The problem is people aren't coming into the theaters to go to comedies. So that's
No.
a down part. But the reason that they're not going is because they're not funny anymore, because they're not
Yep.
allowed to be funny anymore, because humor is offensive and everybody's offensive and everybody wants to sue you for being offensive these days.
And that's what's so crazy is like if you talk to most people, just average people on the street or at your job or customers or
Yeah,
whatever it is,
right,
they'll tell you like they don't get offended by
right.
much. So then it's a select group of people from different walks that are then determining, hey, this isn't appropriate for everyone,
Yep.
right? So then, it shouldn't be shown, or these jokes aren't appropriate, and yet those jokes typically make people laugh.
Yeah.
So, what is it? Right. And I think we've talked about it ad nauseum over the last few years.
Yeah.
3-Star Draws in the house too. And
What's
said
up?
he came to chew bubble gum and hear shit talked about Disney, and he's all out of bubble gum. Well, Predator Badlands, we did we did get into.
Man,
Some people are like,
everybody's
that's a
bagging on
fox.
me
That's
for hating
Fox.
Disney. Well, yeah. Everybody's bagging on me for bashing Disney all the time. It's like, well, if they made something good, I'd say it was good.
I'm the same
And
way, dude.
and I want them to make
Same
something
way.
good. It just so happens that we'll talk about it a bit later about the brainwashing effect that's gone on for the last 15 years.
Yeah, you hang on to that, okay? You definitely hang on to that. And yeah, Bobby, you're right about that. Camping out for Phantom Menace, if you did that these days,
Yeah.
enter at your own
Yeah,
risk.
yeah,
Your,
yeah, yeah.
your your camp would be gone if you fell asleep for 10 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, midnight movies definitely had been a thing forever. It still is, but it's just like the midnight video game release or the
Yep.
midnight video game console release. People just don't do that anymore.
Except for
Not
Twitch streamers. They're all about it.
evidently they do. Yeah, for sure. And then Todd C says movies are horrible dates, and unless okay, scary movies are great date movies.
Yes. Do not take a girl that you're
Great.
dating on a first date to go see Mr. Baseball with Tom Selleck about playing
Agree.
baseball in Japan.
So when did that happen to you, Matthew?
When that movie came out.
I knew it. Yeah, no, look, horror movies. I'll never forget my junior year of high school. My girlfriend and I, and then my buddy and his girlfriend went to see Candyman in theaters on Halloween night. I had a curfew I was supposed to get back at. I don't remember, it was like 11 p.m. or something like that. And the power went out in the movie theater. In the middle of Candyman, everything went black.
Nice.
I mean, you couldn't have planned it any better. It probably was planned.
Yeah,
I had
somebody.
to, I had to get a payphone. I had to get a payphone.
Oh,
and
what
I had
now?
to,
What's a payphone?
Yeah, well, it's a phone you had to pay to use by using coins.
Coins? What
yeah.
are coins?
Yeah, I had to get a payphone and call my mom and say, I'm going to be late. The power went out in the theater on Halloween. Now, does that sound, that sounds like such a bullshit story, does it not?
Totally made up. That's not true at all. That's totally made up.
Ridiculous, right?
Absolutely.
Ridiculous. Yeah, Brogu, I agree 100% with that one, buddy. So anyway, now there's something else. Speaking of Disney, okay, so great timing, 3-star, and yeah, I agree. Also, Stew for lunch with that comment. Although, depending on what kind of chick you're dating, it could actually be a good date movie.
Well, for me, Wayne's World was a great date movie because I had seen it like 14 times already, and so I didn't have to focus on the movie.
Yeah, no, I mean, in those days, who wanted to focus on the movie?
I mean,
Okay, so I'm going to hit this headline real quick. This is from That Park Place. Bob Iger says Walt Disney and his legacy shouldn't be revered. He did an interview. It was a feature. It was called "The Rest Is Histories." We went to Disneyland with Bob Iger, and he was discussing his early days as the CEO. He said, "I found when I got the job that the interest in Walt and in Disney's past was much too reverential. And while there's value to it, I felt if you revere something, then you tend to not want to touch it. You almost want to put it in a museum case for it to stay exactly as it was. Let's respect our past and not revere it." What do you think about?
I believe that's a
these?
Star Wars quote.
Yes.
It's close to a Star Wars quote.
So
the
close.
past die, kill it if you have to.
Yes.
That is a straight up fascist line from people who love to destroy history and culture.
Dude,
Just saying.
when I read this quote, that's the first thing I thought of. And the funny thing is with Bob Iger is it's not even whether or not he chose or has chosen to revere Walt and follow through with Walt's vision.
He's incapable. He's a freaking weatherman.
And his idea of furthering Disney's legacy is one thing and one thing only,
Corporate
and that
profits.
is to buy up properties,
Yeah.
to buy up IP, to buy studios, and to collect them like we collect music on a streaming service.
Yeah.
It's not about creation. It's not about originality. It's not about reverence for Walt's legacy or what his vision was. It's literally just about pleasing shareholders and buying up IP, and that's it. That's it. I don't even know. He can give you all the lip service he wants, but ultimately it's like, this is what he's done. They've just spent billions of dollars buying shit and not knowing how to make money off of it.
Yeah, and that's all he's ever done. That's all he's ever been known for is buying properties. He's never created a thing in his life. He's a weatherman, and he just got in the right place at the right time, and all of a sudden he's running Disney.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Look, hey, we can talk about Walt and his thoughts or whatever. I know there's some things out there about Walt Disney. I know there's some stories out there about him and his thoughts during like World War II or
we all know why they
War.
made the movie Frozen, right?
Is it about fridging chicks in movies as a trope?
No. So have you not heard this? I'm sure you've heard this.
Refresh me. I probably have.
The entire reason that they made a movie and they titled it Frozen so that when you Google search Disney Frozen, you wouldn't get the Walt Disney's Frozen head and cryogenic stuff, that you actually get the movie Frozen with Elsa and Anna in it. So they could take that trope away from Disney so people would stop talking about him, freezing his head.
Wow. Once you said it, I was like, oh yeah. Okay. Everybody's listing what they're drinking at the moment.
Mexican Coke, that's the good stuff.
Bushmills, man. Yeah, that stuff will have you bouncing off the freaking walls.
Oh, man,
everybody else got something with sugar in it for the most part, except for 3 Star, and then Stu for lunch got a Pepsi, a Zero.
I will tell you, those Mexican Cokes are amazing because they use real sugar. It's so funny that we have to go overseas to get healthy and nutritious foods these days.
Well, I've long said that the best fountain Cokes you're going to get are at Mexican restaurants. They are so crisp and just fire, dude. Yeah. Absolute fire, man. That's the best Cokes I've ever had as far as a fountain drink is concerned, is at a Mexican restaurant. It just hands down. It can't be beat. You guys, let me know next week if you happen to go to a Mexican restaurant the next time you do and get a Coke when you get your tacos or your chimichangas or whatever. And you let me know. You let me know if it's not the crispest, like fire Coke that you've had at a Mexican restaurant, unless you were cooked there, and then that's a whole different story. That involves the back line and something that looks like sugar. Some people call it booger sugar.
Oh well, there, yeah. Don't we wish Hollywood was doing more of that?
Actually, yes, because I have a feeling they come up with some better shit. That's for sure.
Yep.
I'm gonna see if I can find it really quickly, because I thought this was one of the dumbest headlines that I've seen, and it comes from a site called The Direct. Okay, this article is really goofy. I'm not even going to go through the whole article. I just wanted to pull one part of it. The Mandalorian and Grogu trailer just broke a 47-year-old Star Wars rule, breaking one of the core Star Wars movie rules regarding the humanity of it all. Okay. So, since Star Wars began 47 years ago, it has consistently remained relatable by placing human faces at the center of its stories. Okay? Unlike other major sci-fi franchises such as Star Trek or Avatar, extraterrestrial species, although featured heavily in Star Wars films, have never been the face of the franchise. 11 live-action films.
That's because the Emperor was racist. Don't you remember that?
Wait,
the Emperor was racist.
We're gonna get to that.
Okay.
Somehow Palpatine has returned. Keeping human characters at the forefront of the narrative has become a core rule of Star Wars, maintaining an element of accessibility for the franchise's massive audience. However, that rule will be broken when The Mandalorian and Grogu is released. The trailer for the new Star Wars film prominently featured Grogu, an alien species, and Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, a human whose face is hidden behind his helmet, highlighting a lack of human faces for audiences to connect with. How in the hell they were able to create an article out of this little thing
that was an AI generated article right there.
It is truly fascinating, the crap that is put out just because of this. I couldn't believe it when I saw it, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to read it. And then when I realized what it was, I was like, this is unbelievable.
Wow. This is truly amazing. Okay, one, human empathy is at an all-time low. People can't empathize with anything anymore unless it looks and acts exactly like they do, which is ridiculous on its own level. Two, Grogu is human-like features. Okay, it's got big floppy ears and its skin is green, but it's still human-like, and so it's too close to human, so that's your relatable in route. You got a guy wearing a mask the whole time. Okay, so what? Look at what they did with Predator Badlands. I mean, they made it look like Michelle Obama. So,
Oh my God, that picture is unbelievable.
I mean, they make the Predator look as human as possible so that you can relate to it. Well, okay, that disconnects empathy and reality, because I've watched so many movies and TV shows where I empathize with animated characters or alien characters or whatever, who's not me in any way, a female character who lived in another country her whole life, right? And I can empathize with them because I can see their journey through that. That's what empathy is, right? You connect with somebody who's not you, and the lack of empathy in this world is massive. And people just don't put themselves in someone else's shoes anymore.
It's look. That part of it is because they've been trained
Yeah.
that it's not okay unless they literally see themselves,
Well,
their
and that goes.
sexual
Yeah.
preferences, their height, their weight, their skin color,
Well,
their
and that
hair
goes that
color,
goes
right?
back to Chris's starred comment that I put up there about what somebody told his Mexican wife.
Actually, I'm going to get to it, but just to finish this off, it says that the movie's decision to relegate human characters to the background is a big change for the sci-fi franchise. Really, like, I mean, is it really like?
Yeah,
Look, it's they will always have humans in the main roles. Could you have an alien? Yeah. Would people get behind
sure,
that? Yeah. But this
maybe.
is not some major thing that Star Wars is doing. I thought it was
Yeah,
just so unbelievable
it's it's crazy.
as an article, right? Just as
Yeah,
an article, which shows you dead internet theory is really it's true.
right.
Yeah, Christopher says, bro, someone told my Mexican ex-wife that you have to call it glass bottle Coke because Mexican Coke is racist, according to them. Oh Lord, that's where we're at today.
Mexican. Okay, so we're talking about
What's wrong with that?
location. We're talking about a regional area, right? We're okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
No, look, it's like I mentioned earlier. Anybody you talk to, as far as comedies, right? They find stuff funny. This is the
Yeah,
same thing,
yeah.
right? Clint Jorgensen says I haven't found the fountain drinks at our Taco Bell very crisp because that's not a real Mexican restaurant.
Also, that's
And you know
Pepsi.
that, Clint.
Wait. And also, that's Pepsi, not Coke.
It is. You're right. It is Pepsi. And my mom used to work for Pepsi, actually, and that's how I got to see Michael Jackson and his brothers in 1980, 84.
Yeah, I worked for Pepsi at a
Yeah,
top secret
yeah.
division.
Oh no. Stu for Lessons, I recently watched a YouTube channel talking about the truth of Mexican versus American Coke. Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
that would probably be a pretty cool watch,
Yeah.
right? Like, yeah, I could dig that.
I bet you it's better than that fake flaming hot Cheetos movie that they made with what's his name, Michael Pena,
Yeah.
which the story was totally distorted and not true really at all.
Yeah, but yeah, that was to prop up. That's another one of those
Yep.
kind of movies, right? That's
Yeah.
one of those like, yeah, well, it's the real inventor, and then it's like, no, this
Yeah,
actually
but he
didn't
will.
happen.
Yeah. Anyway.
And Grogu, whose brother Grogu identifies as a human, so at least it's got to count for something. I agree. I
Yeah.
agree, Grogu. I'm so glad.
Absolutely.
Anytime you get a chance to bring your brother into this discussion, Grogu, please do, because I forgot you guys are brothers. Yeah. Let's see. I didn't like relating to the Predator. Also, it didn't have enough clicks in its language. Well, that's because it wasn't Ethiopian. It wasn't Ethiopian.
Well, and we had to get to the emotional side and understand the Predator's thought process and emotions, so that we could relate to him, so that we could tell a story with a disembodied conscience on his back.
Yeah. It's look. We're gonna get into it as we get closer to that movie's release.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's going to be it is going to be a disaster in my opinion. I think that
Yeah.
movie is going to open strong, right? It's going to open strong, and then it's going to have some severe issues. Here's something that I know you wanted to see, Matthew, quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I said that to you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's this is the new Predator, folks, from '87 all the way up to 2025. We have the actor behind the mask now. Oh my God, it's brutal, just brutal. Oh my
Man.
God. Oh, man, did you know Sesame Street's getting saved by HBO Max?
Well, okay. So
Or
this
by
is
Netflix? No, by Netflix. My bad. I
okay.
misspoke.
So yeah,
Eh, yeah,
because HBO tried to save
they did.
Sesame Street, and they tried to fund it. They got another season, or they did some more episodes or something to try and bring it back. Nobody knew it even happened. Nobody who even has HBO realized that it happened. I mean,
Yep.
there were like 5 people that knew. I was one of them, and I was like, wait a minute, this is kind of cool. They're bringing it back, but I could never find it on the app when they did it. And now Netflix is trying to bring it back. Okay.
I mean, look, for most of us, this is a story. Holy moly, hang on, I got to go back a second here. I just did something wacky to my. Okay, so this is a story for most of us that really doesn't do anything for us at this point, because most of us probably don't have young children. Not that young.
Yeah.
But growing up with Sesame Street, growing up with children's programming, PBS in particular. Nickelodeon being like that cable channel as a kid that I remember with Fraggle Rock and stuff like that. Sesame Street is kind of an institution, right?
Yeah.
And look, I get it. It's puppets. It's not as flashy. It's not I don't know. It's not what we consider today most people for children's programming, but I think it is an institution.
It is.
And I do like the fact that at least Netflix is stepping in and saying, hey, you know what, let's, this is important to us, or it's important to maybe a lot of people. Maybe they're our age, but maybe that's because a lot of people our age or younger, rather, want to maybe start showing their kids stuff other than questionable animated content and questionable YouTube shows like Miss Rachel, or that's huge, but has done some questionable.
But remember, Netflix put out the movie Cuties, so who knows what they're gonna do?
Man, Ernie gonna be twerking soon, right? Ernie gonna be twerking his way over to Bert's
I mean,
house.
I don't know if they've done it already, but that Bert and Ernie thing is gonna be an issue, and that's gonna come out, right?
Well, they had a fight. They had a fight,
Ooh.
and Bert moved out.
Oh,
Bert moved out, and Ernie's got to win his love back. I mean, his friendship back.
Friendship back. Yeah.
Gravity Falls was fun. I agree with you, Chris. That's a fun one. Joe Fan 84, what's going on, buddy? Gravity Falls is actually a very fun show. That was a very cool animated show.
Did you ever see Wonder Falls? No, yeah, I bet not. That was a Brian Fuller show in the era of Pushing Daisies, when he was at his creative peak, I think. And Wonder Falls, I think it was just one season, was a really good show, and it did actually tie in to Pushing Daisies at the same time. And it was about indigenous population culture around the Niagara Falls, along with white culture, and kind of intermixing with a bunch of different stories and mystical elements. And it was a comedy that actually had some very interesting things to say. That I love that show.
So I've not seen that. I did see a fabulous entertainer called Miss Autumn Falls, but that's a whole different.
Yeah, I was going to say you paid a
industry.
lot for that, so
That's a no. Don't, guys, do not look that name up. Do not look that name up. That's all I'm going to say. Do not look that name up. Okay. So before we jump into the whole Warner Brothers thing, and then we'll jump into our final topic, so we're going to slow it down. I did want to show you guys, I found this clip from the 60s when Elvis was making movies, and I had no clue, had no idea that Elvis was in this movie. We've been talking about it. You guys may find this a surprise. You may find this shocking, but I'm a big Elvis fan, so I've got to play it for you. This was a test screening, and it's Elvis in The Predator, actually.
Come on, you ugly son of a gun. Not today, friend.
Predator.
Smooth ride for a war zone.
Captain Presley, welcome to Camp Arroyo.
Dylan, you son of a jukebox. Elvis, still strumming up trouble, huh?
You can hear that jungle singing to us, man. Something out there thinks it's the king of the world. Let's go change its mind.
Lord have mercy. Who'd do this to a guitar? ugly son of a gun.
I'm treading through the green where the sunlight hides. Hear the heartbeat of the jungle keeping time. Brothers on my side, we ain't alone tonight. We ain't alone tonight. No.
Keep your eyes sharp, boys. Something out here ain't from any army I know.
You still think it's one man, Cap?
Man doesn't leave tracks like that. Whatever it is, it's hunting us, and it knows this jungle better than we do.
Gives me the chills, sir.
Stay cool.
I saw it out there between the trees. It wasn't like anything human.
Well, keep it quiet. Something's watching us.
Hey, is that the guy from Bloodsport?
Keep that tree line lit up. Don't give it an inch.
Copy that, King! Reloading!
Low ground, cloak predator,
I hear you, friend.
wherever you are.
Come on, big fella, try me. Take this.
You picked the wrong night to hunt, friend. I'm still standing, and I don't quit easy.
Come on, sweetheart. Gotcha. Jungle's mine now. The jungle's gonna hear me now, baby!
I mean, I had no idea. I did not know that test screening happened out in California in 1967. I just wanted to show that to y'all because Elvis is the king of the jungle. They actually call him the Tiger Man. Maybe you knew that. Maybe you didn't. But fascinating that look at the idea. 20 years before what we consider the original Predator film, Elvis
He did it.
thought of it first.
That's it.
Like so much of his music and everything, he thought of it first. He was the first one to bring that style of music to the people. So hopefully you guys, if you'll go out and try to find that, I'd love to get a VHS copy of it. I really would.
I told you my patient said I looked like Elvis the other day, didn't I?
No. Oh, wow. All right.
One of my patients
Take
was
that,
like,
baby.
You look like Elvis. And, in his prime, none of these youngsters know what that even means. And I'm like, okay.
That Predator should have stayed off his blue suede shoes, Turk. Look at you guys.
That's
Just
it.
in harmony. That's right, in harmony, thinking together. The Elvis is Alive conspiracy. Look, when I was a kid, I used to listen to a bunch of those cassette tapes where it was supposed to be him doing an interview with somebody, and he was spotted in Kalamazoo, Michigan at a Burger King. I remember that was a big headline in Star Magazine.
Hey, it's just like Tupac.
Yeah, no, it is. And Elvis continues to release music well beyond his expiration date.
Including all throughout the galaxy with his latest album that Tommy Lee Jones is playing in his Lincoln Continental.
Sure. Man, oh man. But anyway, yeah, so I wanted to show that to you guys because I found that amazing. It really, truly he's a national treasure. And he did the first Predator movie. It just did not see widescreen release. And that's a shame.
Yep. Too many guitars.
I mean, you don't do that to a guitar.
No, you
That's
just
for sure.
that's
Absolutely ridiculous. Okay, we're gonna move through some of this quickly because I do want to get into your thoughts on this.
We gotta talk about Derry.
Mm-hmm. All right, so this is so Saudi. This is how it started. Okay. Saudi's buying Warner Brothers Discovery is one signature away, says a Hollywood producer. So a producer in Hollywood kind of put this out there, said, "Hey, this is happening." This is a guy named Patrick Caligari, and he revealed that it's about to happen. Now this was just a couple days ago, and it made the trades. It went nuts, and now most of the outlets are covering it. So he's the first one to kind of break this thing. And then I started to kind of dig a little more, and the story shifts a little bit. It snakes its way kind of through different companies, so to speak. So here we have Paramount Skydance prepped $71 billion bid to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery, backed by Saudi and Qatar money. After a rejected takeover offer, David Ellison's Paramount Skydance has decided to bring in new Middle Eastern partners to support its full bid for Warner Brothers Discovery for about $71 billion. Okay, so I came across that. Then I came across this. Warner Brothers Discovery wants Paramount to raise its offer to $30 per share. So it goes up to $74 billion. Okay, it offers 80% in cash, 20% in stock, and the initial deadline for non-binding bids is set for November 20th. This is moving very quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly. And then I came across this. Paramount denies report it's working with Saudis. Other Arab funds on $71 billion bid for Warner Discovery. Okay, so it keeps going. And then I found another.
Wow.
Okay, David Ellison's Paramount Skydance said to prep $71 billion Warner Brothers Discovery with 3 Arab sovereign wealth funds. All right. So, and then the last one I got to before I want to get your thoughts on where you think this is going to go. Now, per the media line, Saudi Arabia may team up with Comcast on Warner Brothers bid. So, look, regardless of who purchases it, if this does go down, and we've seen the Saudis purchasing gaming companies, development studios, and other entities in business and otherwise, entertainment. What do you think this looks like if they do purchase Warner Brothers, and what effect do you feel that's going to have on their IP and what we may see as entertainment moving forward?
I don't think that Warner Brothers is going to be successfully sold outright. I think it has to be broken up. There's too much of a monopoly over all entertainment factions that they have their fingers in. So if you buy Warner Brothers, you're getting too much. And now, Warner Brothers is one of the dumbest companies on the planet, right? So they have sectioned themselves off into different divisions, and each division competes with the other divisions. So if you have a movie, that movie competes with streaming, right? And it competes with home video. So those are 2 different divisions, or 3 different divisions, right? That are all competing for the same money, even though synergistically they make money. When you segregate them out, they don't seem to make money, so they have to do a lot of shifting around. So, and this is the problem with the Warner Brothers, because the Warner Brothers hated each other so much that's why the company set up this way, because each one was segregated out to do their thing over here, their thing over here, their thing over here, and then they were always fighting with one another because they hated each other. And so the company grew out of this. And as it stands now, they own so many different things through all of their different methods, from AT&T Communications, who has a big chunk of them, right? They're going to have to segment it off as they sell pieces of it. They can't sell it outright. It won't be viable. 1, it won't be affordable. 2, it wouldn't pass the FCC commission. And honestly, they should have stopped the Hulu Disney merger. But nobody was paying attention at the time to what a freaking monopoly was when that whole thing happened. There were some government officials, just like the radio takeovers that happened. There were some people who were trying to bring it to the attention of the public. Yeah. And like so many things now, people they don't investigate, they don't pay attention, they don't realize kind of what these things do. Especially when it came to the radio with Clear Channel. Right. And it's like, now we know the effects of that, which radio sucks. Right. Well, it does now, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And so no competition.
Right.
Like Disney buying up everything. Yeah. So I guess my question too is, if this does go down, look, I think we would be remiss to say that I think we know how Saudi Arabia feels about certain content that we have been getting in our entertainment for quite some time now.
And so does China, and so does Japan, and so do many other countries in the world.
Right. But my thing is I also believe, and look, I'm going to put the hat on for a second, just for a second. Good faith, great. Hey, we want, they want to make money. They want something profitable, right? And they want to do it to where people want to go see these products. They want to buy into these products. However, I would also say that it wouldn't shock me that there are those entities out there who are not all about some of the very progressive things that we've gotten in our entertainment, who are A-okay with sowing division by having those progressive things in our entertainment. So those are stories that are more that I would get into on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
But my point being is that, do I think, I mean, look, just to lay it on the table, right? And not to get too crazy about it, but a lot of the progressive messaging, quote unquote, woke stuff that we've gotten in a lot of everything. Do you think that would kind of be a cut back on if this deal went through and they were the ones who put a lot of money behind it, obviously having a lot of say in what's being made?
Yeah, I mean, if they have that say, right? If they negotiate that say in there, then they're going to change the types of content that's put out there. And Chris, Yakko, Wacko, and Dot, they didn't get along at all.
I mean, my point, right. I mean, my point is that, if you put that much money behind something, it may not be your name on it. Maybe it is Paramount. Okay, maybe it is Comcast. But you don't put that kind of money up without having some kind of say in what's being made or how it's being made. And
then you want your return on investment. But honestly, when you get to $71 billion or whatever it's going to be, it's all shell game stuff anyway. It's all trust. It's all invisible money. It's money that hasn't been made. It's money that doesn't exist. And so these are all promises and numbers that don't actually mean anything to these people. It's about clout, reputation, and future financing, right?
It's about profit. It's about profit.
Yeah, it's absolutely about profit. But honestly, if anybody looks too deeply into Warner Brothers or Disney, they're going to realize that they've lost $16 billion over the last 8 years. Right? Each of those companies have lost billions and billions of dollars every single year. And they owe the banks so much money. And the banks are like, hey, we're leveraging on futures. And that's the only way that they get these movies made these days for the exorbitant amounts that they do, is that they leverage futures. Sooner or later, people are going to figure out there's no longer a future here. You don't have anything. You owe us all this money, and these things are all going to collapse.
Okay. That's been long said about property in the United States that's owned by China, or loans that have been given, by China in particular. When it's time to pay up, right? When you don't have the money to pay, what happens, right? I mean, I've heard that for years, actually. Now, that goes way deeper than just a very surface line conversation we're having. But right here, Saudi Arabia's public investment fund is reportedly preparing to team up with Comcast for an ambitious all-cash bid that could redefine the acquisition race. And again, this is with Comcast. Now, other parties.
Now, I do want to clarify. People are asking this question in there. No, it's not the Saudi government.
No.
But these are shell corporations, and they could be controlled by the Saudi government. We don't know, because we don't know anything about these companies that are making these offers.
Nor would you know.
Right.
You're not going to find out. But I guess really the part about it on just the early top level is from a content perspective, the IP, right? Like Batman, Superman. You know, you've got your Harry Potter show. I just feel like whatever that they kind of control at Warner Brothers, what does that kind of look like moving forward?
Right.
It's really hard to say. Also, things like this sometimes are challenged.
Yep.
Right? They don't always go through, but often they do.
Well, when it's this big a deal, when it's this much
Yes.
money on the line, there's going to be a lot of challenges to it to put that forth. And I don't think they can privatize it once it's gone public. And these are publicly traded companies, so there's a public interest in them in the United States. So there are shareholders, but the problem is, if a Saudi company comes in and pays $71 billion, they're going to be more than the majority shareholder, right? They're going to own probably 90% of the shares, and everybody else in the United States who thought they had a say in that company is no longer going to have a say in that company.
And the person, as this article mentions, with James Gunn's DCU, could see significant changes. Yeah, if they decide, hey, look, moving forward, these projects that are on the table, we don't think these are going to do anything. We don't think they're going to earn any money. Let's move in another direction.
Yeah.
And that direction may very well be this.
It is not this. It will never be this. Stop, you Snyder bros. Stop
Right.
getting your hopes up. This ain't going to happen, folks. Everybody wants it to happen. Whatever. You got a large population that want it to happen. I would not be opposed to it happening, but it ain't going to happen.
I mean, so it would be interesting if this did go down, and how quickly, I don't know. If this did go down, and then all of a sudden it literally was like, this is the direction I don't think that's going to happen.
It can't.
I really don't think that's going to happen.
Logistically,
That Snyder
physically,
is coming back.
Yeah, no, it cannot happen, and I don't think Snyder would come back at this point.
Now it is been bandied about, and I heard it yesterday about Chris Nolan coming in, and again, working with Zack Snyder and getting these characters back. I will say Zack Snyder has been on X. He's been on social media posting photos of Cavill as Superman and never before seen photos. Ben Affleck as Batman. I mean, the timing is quite interesting. Let's just say that.
I will say that it will take a hell of a lot for Ben Affleck to come back as Batman or whatever, because of how Warner Brothers burned him so bad. They took away his movie that he was going to write and direct. They altered his character. Joss Whedon came in and reshot the whole movie, made him drunk fat man instead of Batman. And I mean, he had to go back into rehab over this whole thing that happened with the Zack Snyder's Justice League, because he was so traumatized by the reshoots from Joss Whedon and all that stuff that went down. And he loved Zack, and he was in the best shape of his entire life when he filmed Zack Snyder's version of the movie. And you're not going to ever see a more physically impressive Batman than you did with Ben Affleck. Not for a long time, I don't think.
No.
But to bring these people back at this point in time, with how long it takes to get these projects going,
that's what I was going to say. Age, right? Yep. They may have contractually
Henry
Cavill's
moved on to Voltron and Warhammer.
Right.
He's doing Voltron and Warhammer, so he's tied up, and he's not going to be able to come back and be your Superman unless you're just going to give him everything. You have to give him control at this point, because he's already stated, once he left the Rock's ex-wife's agency, stopped having her promote him, and he started doing his own thing. He started getting control back of his career and his life, and he realized, I have say in this, and I can have say in this.
It's just, I think after this many years, I think it'd be difficult. I think yes, with the Snyder Bros, love it. Yes, I don't think it's enough. Those movies did not just make a ton of money. They didn't get, it wasn't like they were huge.
Looking back at it, though, they made a whole lot more than the current batch of movies because BVS and the other, I mean, they hit billions of dollars at the box office, and so they were mildly successful compared to their budgets and things like that. So there was success there, but not as much as they wanted. Unfortunately, what they've had since then has been garbage. So they're stuck.
Yeah, it's I guess really, and just to just top this off, and then there's a couple of questions in here I want to kind of get to that I've got starred, including Clint's here that I'll get to. This article is talking about, this comes from the same insider that told us Daredevil Born Again was being completely retooled months before Hollywood Reporter confirmed it. It's the same source who had been accurately filling in
and we saw that retooling, and it wasn't good either way. It didn't help the project.
But that wasn't the purpose of that.
Right.
The purpose of that was just to say, hey, they're completely reworking it. It also is the person who's been filling them in on the Warner Brothers sale, Zaslav's plans before the trades caught up, right? So the person that's been kind of, given this about this Snyder-Verse maybe possibly returning is someone who does have some credibility within breaking some of these stories. So we'll keep an eye on that and see. I mean, the main part basically being obviously the sale first and foremost of Warner Brothers and where that heads to. I did want to hit up some of these before we jump into kind of finishing up with kind of these reviews and talking about the movies and shows that we got a chance to check out. Okay, so Christopher Penio 5129. There we go. Don't Saudis get payments from corporations the government owns there?
I don't know anything about their government or their economic system.
I'm not really qualified, honestly, as far as that goes. I'd have to dig a little deeper. And as far as like, Clint Jorgensen saying, isn't the Saudi Arabian public funds for their people's retirement buying this? I have not seen that either, and I don't know if that particular group that is putting the money up. There's two different. One side is backing Comcast, the other one is backing Paramount. So there's kind of different groups coming in on this. Yeah. And then also Chris says the retcon on Peacemaker meeting the Justice League. What did you think about that? I mean, I don't think much about any of it, really. I think it's not very good.
Yeah, I mean, Peacemaker is such a garbage show. I just can't. I mean, the first season was mildly enjoyable. Second season was
off the rails.
Garbage. It was a complete waste of time, and it is solely a vehicle to have James Gunn's wife continue her presence in this universe.
As we say hello to Gun Bunny's Custom. What's up, Gun Bunny?
What's up, Gun Bunny?
I did quickly too. Hunter Iggy 2762. Pop Blender, what is your thoughts if we get a Batman announcement for the DCU? Well, and as you know, Matthew, it's Matt Reeves kind of went on a hiatus for a while. The plan was to maybe get something out. That's taken a long time. After the success of Penguin, I think people would be more willing, even more so, to jump into that world. And maybe if Penguin was a large part of it, jump into that world and really go in. It's just been so much time, and I don't know how many people were that impressed with Robert Pattinson. I thought he was fine. I don't think he makes a good Bruce Wayne.
No.
And so I don't know.
Emo Batman was not my thing. It had some good elements, but honestly, I've rewatched so many other Batman movies. I cannot go back and rewatch that movie. I can't rewatch it because there are two scenes that make me laugh out loud at how freaking ridiculous they are in it. Like
is it Catwoman when she
No, the squirrel suit scene. It makes me laugh so hard because I'm like, okay, this is not even cartoon dumb. I mean, this is like Bugs Bunny slapstick dropping an anvil on your head dumb.
Sure.
Right? It doesn't fit the universe. And you just laugh your ass off. And then the last chunk of that movie with the Riddler is the stupidest thing that I've ever seen in a Batman film.
I think really the kind of third act with the flooding and everything of the city it wasn't really needed. No. But I know that it is intended, at least with James Gunn, for the brave and the bold. I know that Damian Wayne is supposed to be,
Well,
in that.
and that's another problem.
We'll see, right?
I am sick and tired of these guys jumping into the middle of the story, and granted that can be done well, but when you don't establish the characters as their characters before you move them on to their next phase or whatever, it doesn't make any sense, and the audience can't connect with it. If you don't make Carol Danvers Miss Marvel before she comes Captain Marvel, then it doesn't make sense. If you don't have Dick Grayson in here, you cannot have another Robin. You cannot start a movie franchise with Damian Wayne. You cannot start a franchise with Tim Drake. You can't start it with anybody besides Dick Grayson.
You can if what you're pulling from is and you're wanting to go there. I'm not saying you can't. What I'm saying is,
if you do, then you have to have the history of Dick Grayson and all those other characters being there.
Well,
you can't negate them. They have to be included.
What I mean is some people are tired of origin stories. Some people are tired of seeing Bruce's parents get killed. Some people are tired of seeing him in the cave with the bats. So sometimes you can pick up somewhere and bring people in. I don't think Gunn is the person to do it because, as we've seen, it already has not really worked that well. Just coming in and throwing this shit at the wall. I don't think Creature Commandos was a good decision.
Nope.
I don't think Superman's been a good decision. I don't think Supergirl's going to be a good decision. And really, he has not made, I don't think, Peacemaker and then retconning that or whatever. I think he's the wrong person for this job.
I've said it from day one, and I'll continue to say it. He knows how to make one type of movie, and that is not a Superman movie. It's not a Batman movie.
It
is not a singular titular hero that is iconic through all time and space. He only knows how to write the quirky comedy with the ensemble cast. That's all he knows how to write, and that's all he's ever been good at that people have connected with. Everything else has been, what the hell is that? Just like Superman, just like these other things. It doesn't work in that environment.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I don't know how many more announcements are going to come. I think there's a hold on announcements right now, and if they are going to be coming out of that camp, it's just to throw Hail Marys right now. And until we get a little more info on the sale and kind of whatever else, it's to me it's in a holding pattern.
And are they going to sell? If they're going to sell, how much? Who's going to get it? There's a whole bunch of what ifs that we don't have the answers to.
All right, let's get into it. We got three things that I want to bring up. First and foremost, and I know you didn't get a chance to see this, but Running Man, 2025. I did. Look, spoilers, not whatever. Does anybody give a shit? If you know the book, this tries to follow the book a little closer than the Arnold Schwarzenegger 1987 film.
Sure.
I'm going to say off the very top. Now, as you guys see the score here on the screen, it's a 65% Rotten Tomatoes. We looked at the box office earlier. It's not doing so hot. I'm going to say this. There are moments in this movie where there's kind of an interesting or somewhat fun action moment. But ultimately, really just laying it out there. Yes, the Arnold Schwarzenegger film deviates from the book. Is it goofy? Is it hyperbolic? Yes, but that's what makes you remember it. You will not remember this movie a week after you see it. I don't even know if you'll remember it really 2 days after you see it, because there's nothing in this film that is worth remembering. Glenn Powell has no memorable lines. He is an angry man, and when they try to give him memorable lines, they're not good. This is not the right film for this guy. There's a girl in this film this chick right here, Katie M. O'Brien. Okay, now they're trying to make her a thing in Hollywood.
Yeah,
she was in the last Mission Impossible film as one of the people on the submarine. She is a hoorah. She's a tough, gritty, built lesbian chick. That's why she's in the movie she's in. She cannot act. They gave her this role, and there's a scene in it where before they go and they go on the show to give up their lives or whatever they're going to do, they go to a room one by one. They're all out in the hallway, and then one by one they get called in to meet with James Brolin's character, and then one by one each of them walks out. And so the first guy walks out, he's got a blonde with him, right, and he's like, I'm getting ready to go do whatever, the last night of my life, whatever, before whatever, the show starts.
Right.
You can guess who she walks out with.
Yeah.
Right? She walks out with this black chick, and she's just all touching her face, and it's like, okay, all right. I mean, whatever, but you could see it coming a mile away. But her aside, they're trying to make her a thing. She will not be a thing in Hollywood, but they're trying hard. Yeah. This movie's so not memorable, and there's a part with a family in it, kind of in the middle of it, and I don't know why the family's in there. It doesn't add to it. The part of it taking place over 30 days is too much.
Yep.
I think the arena that Arnold gets put in, and these really crazy characters. The hunters in this movie are not memorable. They're not good. It's
unfortunate.
It really is unfortunate. It's a huge miss.
Yep.
And there's a reason why people still remember, even if you go back and watch it now and you go, okay, it's kind of
I've got an
goofy.
analogy for you.
Far better. The original, again, far better than this movie.
I've got a comparison for you, okay? Arnold Schwarzenegger's Total Recall, Colin Farrell's Total Recall.
Okay.
Do you remember Colin Farrell's Total Recall?
No.
Okay. This is the exact same thing.
100%.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's Running Man and this Running Man. Are you going to remember it? No, you're not going to remember it.
I mean,
because it's too generic, and it tries to pull, but it doesn't.
Generic.
It tries to expand stuff from the book or use stuff from the book, but again, book to screen adaptations are very difficult most of the time. And you look at the crazy crap that they did in that Arnold Schwarzenegger Total Recall movie, and it was totally deviating from the book in so many ways, but it made an entertaining film, and people trashed it at the time as a video game movie or whatever. I remember video game movies specifically when that movie came out, but there were so many reviews at that time saying how bad it was. But you compare it to the Colin Farrell one, which was closer to the book, which was pretty darn well done. It had good special effects. It had great actors involved with all of it, and it just wasn't. It didn't click. It wasn't good.
Let me ask you a question about that movie as well, and this one as well. Is it trying to be maybe a little more realistic? I know it sounds goofy to say that with this movie in particular, okay, and Total Recall.
Yeah.
But like, are maybe a grittier tone, a more like you could tell by the color grading in this movie and it's like it's not fun.
Right.
This movie's not fun. It's
there you
not
go.
funny. It's not. There's nothing about it, and I'm telling you guys, you're gonna waste your money if you go to the theater to see this film. And as much as I want people to go to the movies, it's not worth seeing at the movie theater, and you will not remember it. It is such a and even the ending is extremely just there's nothing about it where you're surprised or you're like, man, that meant something, or I'm rooting for this guy. And also, okay, Richard Dawson.
Oh,
in
yeah.
The original.
If you know who Richard Dawson is, it was perfectly cast.
This
in that
guy
movie.
is great at what he does.
Yeah.
But they split the characters. They also, he's good, but it's just like, oh, here we go. Okay, I see who this guy is. And then ultimately, somehow, some way, even though this company is a big media company and they alter the comments that Glenn Powell Ben makes in this movie, okay? They alter his comments. They put it out there like he's talking shit to America.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, at the drop of a hat, everybody's on his side. It's so weird, and it like comes out of nowhere that it just doesn't make any sense. And it left me going like, well, when did this happen? Like just 5 minutes ago, everybody's cussing this guy out. They're trying to kill him. And then all of a sudden now they're rooting for him. It was really, really strange. But yeah, don't waste your money. Matthew, if you don't ever see this version, you will be better off for it. I promise you that.
Hey, you know what?
It's not
I like the lead
fun.
actor, but
I do too.
I've not heard anything good about this, and there's nothing that makes me want to see it.
It's not fun, man. And that's the thing. You watch the Arnold one, and as goofy as it is, even Total Recall, even Predator, if you want to say that, I don't think so with Predator. But the futuristic, far-flung movies, yes, they're fun. They're memorable. They have memorable characters, and that ultimately it makes it far superior to this Running Man. And we've seen by the box office receipts that obviously everybody else thinks the same way.
Yeah, Chris, drugs are bad. Okay.
There is one other thing I want to add to this, and we don't have to wax on it at all. But I think kids are tired of hand-me-down franchises.
Absolutely.
I think they that's why they want to go see Minecraft. That's why they want to see a Five Nights at Freddy's maybe. That's why they want to see these anime or K-pop Demon Hunters or
Absolutely.
whatever. They don't want 40-year-old franchises that are hand-me-downs that dad likes or granddad loved. They want their own shit, man, because the stuff they're giving them that's 40-year-old franchises, they're not good remakes. They suck. So why would they want to buy into that? You know, why would you want to buy into Rise of Skywalker? You know, it's like, no, they need their own original stuff.
There's another element to it that I think some people are missing, that the industry is absolutely missing. You want to connect with new audiences, you have to create something new, right? Because the new generation is always rebellious and different from the previous generations. No matter how much they love them or respect them or don't, whatever it is, they have to have their own thing, right? Yes. And you look at K-pop Demon Hunters, and that's not for you. That's not for me. That's not for our generation. That is clearly for these 20-something-year-olds, and they engage with it, and they love it, and the music is good, and they're engaged with it. It's theirs. And guess what? They can have communication about it that we will never really understand, right? They can talk about it in ways that we won't understand. And that way they can take ownership of it. You have to create something new to do that. If you're always placating to the generation in their 30s to 50s who have the most disposable income that will make you money, you're going to get a loss in return at some point, because you're never going to do service to what those people want, and you're never going to do service to the new people who you want to bring in unless you create something new. And that's too much of a challenge, too much of a risk for Hollywood, because of how many bankers they have on the line with all this debt that they've incurred that they have to recoup. And that's why they won't make the small movies anymore, unfortunately.
But something else is that you've got a generation now that's growing up not going to the movies.
Yes.
And so you've lost them. It's not habit. They're not interested. They don't have to go. So by not giving them even their own new original creative stuff for them that's good, because look, teenagers can see right through all the quote unquote woke bullshit.
Yeah.
They're not into it. They're not cool with it. They don't like it. No matter how many polls you see come out of California, they're not into that, because they are like the majority of people, and they're just regular everyday people, and they see through it, and they're not buying into that shit. So they've lost a generation of moviegoers, and they'll never have them. So they've got to start doing that for these kids going forward. Okay, let's get into it. Welcome to Derry, and then I kind of want to touch on why
I want to talk
movies
about
today.
Landman a little bit too.
Okay, well then fire away. Actually, if you want to talk about Landman, go right ahead because I have not caught up with season 2.
Okay, have you finished season 1?
No, I have not.
Okay. Okay. You got to get caught up on this, and you got to do it fast because this season is coming out weekly and it's dropping. And the first episode of season 2 was just much of a banger as some of their best episodes. So Landman is Taylor Sheridan's best work, in my opinion. And I've seen all of the stuff, and I loved 1883. I liked 1923. I could not get into Yellowstone. I just couldn't. What's the other one with Jeremy Renner? But anyway, the Kings of
Mayor of Kingstown.
Mayor of Kingstown. I haven't been able to get back to that one yet, but it didn't draw as much interest as Tulsa King and Landman, and I love the first 2 seasons of Tulsa King. The third season has got a new writing staff, and it so far is just not the same from what I've seen. Landman is firing on all cylinders right now, and it is one of the best things that this crew have written and put together. It's a culmination of things. Sam Elliott is coming in for season 2. The first 15 minutes of the first episode of season 2 is so incredibly engaging and phenomenal. It's like this is everything that we complain about done right in a way that makes sense, in a world that makes sense, and all of it is pointing out the flaws in our own society at the same time living within it and trying to make millions of dollars. It's because it's about the oil industry in Texas. And it is so true to the bone that they had Jerry Jones in it last season, and he spoke from the heart.
Yeah, he was good.
And that scene was his legitimate approach to things, whether you love him or hate him. He presented his idea of his world and what he is trying to do. And then you can call bullshit on that all you want, or you can whatever, but that's the way he views it, right? How it turns out may be different. And so if you take it from that perspective, it's really interesting to dive into this and go into the detail. When Billy Bob Thornton's character is asking for a cigarette at a restaurant in Fort Worth, and they're like, oh, I don't know, we don't even do that. So he's got to basically slip the waitress $100 to tell the busboy to go find him a pack of cigarettes, right? This whole conversation is great. And then you have, I can't get into it without spoiling it for you, Pop. So I'm not going to do that. But there's a scene within the first 15 minutes of there's a scene in the first 15 minutes that culminates everything. And if you want to talk girl boss energy, this is true girl boss energy, because it's not this fake bullshit. This is a woman stepping into power, and the expectations that have been put upon her by everybody else, and the whores in the audience who are watching her, and her stepping up and showing her complete and total dominance of the situation because she knew what her husband was doing. And this is the world that she's lived in for long enough. And she knows it, and she knows how to control it because she has the people backing her to do it. And the people backing her are Billy Bob Thornton. Right. And so it's really well done. And you've got a son branching off to do his own thing. And it's really well written, and I encourage you, if you have not watched season 1 of Landman, go watch season 1 of Landman. You will laugh your ass off at a bunch of stuff. You might get pissed off at a lot of stuff, but there's so much truth in what's happening in that show, and it carries on to season 2 that I really would encourage you guys to go watch Landman up through what's going on right now. And they're currently dropping episodes of season 2 on Sunday nights. So Saturday at midnight or whatever, you can probably watch the next episode that drops on Sunday, because they don't do it like HBO, who drops it at 9 p.m. So they have a day and date time drop for it. And I appreciate that they're doing that. It makes it harder for me to watch Deary, but I still get a chance to do it. and we're gonna get to Deary coming up, but definitely go watch Landman.
Well, I haven't finished it, but I've watched a few episodes of season 1, and then just schedule wise, it just kind of didn't end up not falling in. But no, I liked what I saw. I thought it was really good. There's some great lines in it. I think that Billy Bob Thornton is fantastic in it. He's got he's really, really good, of course, and it's written really well, and it's believable characters, and I love the fact that it revolves around the industry that it does. And he has some great takes that are written about like climate change.
Oh man, he's got so many good takes.
Oh dude, like he's got one great scene in season 1 where he just lays it out for was it his daughter, I believe it is. Yeah, and
whether you agree with it or not, he's laying out the oil man's perspective on most of it.
Fantastic. So no, I agree. It's a great show. I just haven't caught up with it, but I know a lot of people are, and I know a lot of people are watching Tulsa King, obviously. But according to you and someone else that I know who's watching it, is that season 1 in particular had some great writing, and that it seems that season 3 has kind of, subsequent
for
seasons
Tulsa King.
for Tulsa King have kind of dropped a bit off from what it started as. Graf, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you, man. I would also, even though just in what I've seen on Landman, I would encourage anybody to go see it. Go check it out and stream it themselves. I mean, look, it's Taylor Sheridan, and he does good shit. I mean, you know that. And whether or not you like all of his shows, most of them have been very good. Now, some of that just comes from, being the toast of the town, right?
Yep.
And everything you touch is kind of really good. It starts out great. But for the most part, he's done a great job with about everything.
I mean, most people like most of his stuff. Stew for Lunch. You're struggling with the season 1 stuff with the daughter. I have to tell you, you got to remember that daughter was not raised by her father. That daughter was raised by a spoiled, entitled ex-wife of her husband. And so she was given everything and taught everything that her whore mother learned in her life.
Right. But I wonder if Stu's kind of talking about maybe he just doesn't like those characters or their story,
I get it.
Maybe.
No, I totally understand because
I don't know.
Because the daughter
I'm just speculating.
The daughter is not a likable person and not a likable character.
No,
and,
I agree.
And that continues because she is the same type of character and she hasn't learned hard lessons yet. And I think those are coming. I think those are coming pretty soon.
Yeah, hard lessons are coming around the bend.
No, we haven't skipped it. We're getting right to it soon, Chris. We're right there.
Yeah, I actually was just getting ready to turn the page.
All right, can you wax poetical for a minute? I'll be right back.
Yeah. Shoot, that's the story of my life, dude. I might even just rap. How about that? To the hip hop. Don't go or whatever. Anyway, okay. Yeah, no worries, buddy. Stu said when they are on, I got 3 left of the. Okay, cool. I got you, man. Yeah. So if you guys haven't checked out Welcome to Derry, I don't know if you have HBO Max or not, but I am not a big person on the lore of it. I've mentioned that it's not something I know a lot about. I don't know all the connections of these characters. I know some of the connections, but I was not a big fan of the TV series back in the day. I was not a huge person on the movies that came out a few years ago, and even the second movie. I saw the first one, didn't really see. I saw bits of the second one. But like the lore, as far as that goes, I'm not a deep diver on that stuff. I do like the characters. I like the premise. The Pennywise, character I do like. But I'm definitely not big up on the lore. You guys probably, if you are fans, probably know way more than I do. But with it, Welcome to Derry, it's definitely more of me just diving into something I don't know a lot about, but really enjoying what they've done so far. Now, I have a friend of mine who has actually worked on CGI for this show. He has also worked on CGI on some Marvel stuff. And so I was talking to him the other day about it, and he got brought in after probably the first, let's say, 4 episodes, roughly. And so I think his parts are in this most recent episode and moving forward because they needed some help and they needed to get the CGI up to par and out the door to be able to make the show. But he actually finished working on it months ago, so I've been waiting on this to come out. And so Graf says has a 78% on Rotten Tomatoes for Landman. Yeah, I mean 78. I can't comment. I did see it earlier when we had it on the screen, so I am a little curious about that. But I'd need to dig in to look at some of those reviews and see some of those user scores on there. But yes, the mentor from The Shining is the psychic in it. Welcome to Derry. So welcome to Derry, Matthew. I just mentioned I'm not deep on the lore. I'm not somebody that can sit there and name off all the kids and all the last names. I know that's all in this show. There's a lot of last names people are recognizing, and they know how these characters turn out. Halloran is one of the guys I know that turns out and who he is within reference to the show. But just pertaining to just this show, all right?
Yep. Let's keep it contained to that because if you know who Dick Halloran is, that's fine. That's great.
Right.
But none of it really matters because we need to learn about this show.
It's so we talked about episode 1 is shocking. I don't know how many of you have actually seen it, but episode 1 definitely does a great world building. It does a great characterization with these kids. You care about these kids in a short period of time. They really do a good job of bringing you in. They're likable characters, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end, something shocking happens with these kids, and it is. I think I equated it to kind of like Sean Bean in Game of Thrones. It's like you just don't think that this is going to happen this early, and it does. And so from then I was sold. Okay, episode 1 was like boom, hook, line, and sinker. Episode 2, also heavily sold. I liked what I was seeing. They bring this military aspect into it. You start to learn a little bit more about it. I don't think the entire military, but we do have one of the main characters and it's James Remar, who's General Shaw.
Yeah,
and he knows something's up because of the town of Derry. And he's back there, and they're characterizing it as a weapon, so to speak, of mass destruction, right? A psychological weapon they can use against the Soviets.
Right.
That's where the military aspect. So that kind of caught me off guard that they brought that aspect in. I was like, okay, this is interesting.
Well, it also changed a preconceived notion based off of the last 15 years of filmmaking that I thought it might go. And as you get more into the general's character and his past history, I think it's a little more interesting than what we thought it might be. But they're still, presenting things in there that were things that were happening in tensions at the time, but they're using modern vernacular for it. So it's kind of odd.
A little odd. But they bring this military aspect, so it's kind of like, okay, what is it? And then, obviously, they bring in Dick Halloran, who has the shine, and they're trying to locate it.
Yeah.
So he is the one that's brought in specifically to try to locate the object that the military can maybe use. So you have and as we get progressively further, I'll talk about what I thought about when we talked about it last week. So then, as we progress along, we find out that there's Indian burial grounds, Native American burial grounds. And you have this aspect of Native Americans who probably really kind of know about this thing. They've known about this thing. It's passed down in the tribe, so to speak, to the people. And so now we have a situation where the military comes in. They're excavating. So now we have Native American land that's being excavated without their permission. So there's a meeting about that too.
Yep.
And so now you have the kids in the town. You have the town itself, who every X amount of years, how many did you say it was? Every 30
something years.
30 something years, something happens, and then people forget.
Yep.
They forget that it happened, and
and they bring this up with the general's past history because the girl he likes is like, well, this town has a funny way of making people forget. 27 years, sorry.
Yeah, we went over it last week, and I'm like, so it shows you again. The lore. I'm like,
yeah,
so.
and then you get to the point that the general comes back. He doesn't even remember this person that he spent a couple years with. In this venue, doesn't even remember her name when he was so connected with her, and until he sees it written down in front of him, and he's like, "Oh yeah,
so
I know
General
this person."
Shaw, he knows something kind of happened. He knows he can't, but he can't really remember it. He's back in this town again, right? And then he runs into her. She is a Native American girl who's now all grown up many years later, and so. He enlists her help to be respectful by having her help point out what land they can dig up. Okay.
Yep.
And so you have that aspect come into it as well. You have a poor girl who sees in the first episode what happens to her friends, and no one believes her. She's already been in a mental institution one time in her life after her father passed at a pickle factory. And then you have a theater owner who's a black guy who gets blamed for what happens to the kids at the end of episode 1. Okay, and he has a daughter as well. So you have all these different people, and they've done a great job, Matthew, of like giving all these people character. It's a multifaceted cast, but they've done a great job with every one of them.
Every single character that comes into play has this rich story behind who they are already, even with the little stuff that they show on some of them. And they tease some of it, and some of it's superficial, but it's still background information. Like, at the beginning of the series, you've got this superficial background about the pilot's wife. And her background, but that's starting to play out. By episode 4, it really is starting to play out, who she is. And it's really interesting how everybody's got such a rich history and background, and you feel like they're fleshed out. So you're getting this storyline, and then you're getting this horror element thrown on top of it with these kids who are doing a wonderful job, being the characters that they are in this environment, with the fear and the social anxieties of being in, elementary school, middle school, and dealing with all the stuff that they have to deal with on top of their parents, on top of the government, the law enforcement, and how that all plays out in the 1960s, and how the tensions are so high already across the United States at this point in our history, and how they're kind of showing this in a very interesting light with all of these circumstances. And you even have the sheriff or the police chief of the town say, commenting on the major's wife and saying, well, this isn't the South. He was given a lawyer and he has had counsel, but she still finds that they missed something very significant in the due process of a person who's been in custody.
You're right. Now it is interesting too, just because he does mention that this isn't the South, but yet this guy's completely railroading this dude in jail.
Absolutely.
He's railroading a theater owner. So that comment was interesting because, he really hasn't had any representation. He's been left in this jail. They're not letting him talk to anybody. Nobody's seen him. So so you have all these things at play, and they're really building up a really good story. Now, I did mention last week, and I will mention again, look, there are things that come into play, like we just mentioned, with the Native Americans and the burial land. We talked about there's racism in this town. There's racial tones in this that are obviously, happening.
Yeah.
It's, yes, this time period is ripe for that kind of storytelling, so to speak. I do also feel, however, that it's the writers and the showrunners' way of maybe working some of these social issues into stories, and by it being in the 60s, it definitely gives it the green light to be able to put these things at the forefront. The thing is, though, is that it does work, and it's not like, hey, we're going to hit you over the head with it and we're going to make it, it does work. It's done well.
Yep.
And there's no one looking at the camera and telling you you're a bad person if this, right? Like it does fit within the story. So
the only issue that I have with it is that they are starting to use modern language or modern sensibilities in this show that were not the same then.
Yes. But again, for the most part, it's maybe, I don't know, either easily overlooked or whatever, but I think they've done a good job of the writing. They fleshed out the characters. Yeah. There's some good scares in it. There's good CGI. Yeah.
It'll keep you on the edge of your seat. I mean, episode 4 had some moments that I was like,
yeah. No. And that's the one cool thing I really like about it, is the fact that, like, you want to see what happens next.
Yeah.
You want to see what happens with these characters. The eyeball motif thing is freaky. Yeah. Episode 4, it gets really freaking weird.
Well, and then that goes back to Alien Earth or whatever, that stupid show.
Oh, yeah, but this is really like, the actual look of the eyeballs is just nasty.
Oh man, and they did such a good job with it.
Yeah,
and they set it up perfect, and they threw it in there, and it was really well done.
Yeah, it's pretty wacky, man. I mean, it really is, but it's a really good show. It's not something I want to sit here and spoil, because I know a lot of people just haven't jumped into it yet. If you have, you have. I don't want to just spoil everything that happens to everybody. But it's not afraid. This show is not afraid to do bad things to people, good people, unawares, especially children. And the only goofy stuff I really thought of was at the end of episode 3. The kids are riding their bikes through the cemetery to escape the getting chased by ghosts, and I thought it looked really goofy.
Oh, I thought it was all right.
I don't know. It looked like the haunted mansion at Disney World or something with and they're like chasing them, but whatever. It's fine. It worked. I will say, I thought I had a girl at work that's a good friend of mine, name's Gabby. And she's a black girl, so I'll tell you what she said. She said, I'm going to tell you right now, something that would never happen is when the little black boy walks up in that crypt by himself. Remember that in episode 3? She said, black people don't do shit like that. And I said, you're right. That would never happen. Because he'd be like, oh, no, I ain't going up in here. Y'all crazy as hell. I already know. We were joking about it so hard at work. It was so funny. But she was so right. I said, yeah, you're right, girl. You're right about that. That shit ain't going down. But nonetheless, the kids are believable. The actors are believable. It's shot well. Episode 4 does have some freaky shit go down in it. There's just one scene that I brought up to you earlier.
Yeah, I know.
Something totally happens at the school that is a major thing with one of the kids, and it's traumatizing. And literally just there's one scene after that, and then literally the next scene, one of the kids is laying in bed trying to get to sleep, and it's like it never happened. It's like he wasn't affected, didn't bother him. This just happened at school that day. And it's like, just this, it's like it didn't happen. So it's really weird. I did want to say to Base Reef 26, restore the Snyder-Verse.
And, it'll be great when you catch up to the future times because you're living in the past. No.
hey, that's okay. Keep watching.
Keep watching.
That's right.
Watch on 1.5 or 2x if you can.
But
then you'll catch up.
Yeah, we will see. We will see. It's possible. I don't know, but nonetheless, I highly recommend it. I still recommend it after 4 episodes.
Yeah.
And
it's good.
I'm going to keep on choogling along with this one. I can't wait. It's usually, I've said it, horror and stuff like this is not normally my thing, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and I can't wait to see where it goes, even though I'm not a huge person with the lore and all that. It's fun to get into. It really is.
It's really engaging, and it's worth it. The way that they've rendered the kids in this, I think, is really well done, with the dynamics between the different friend groups, between the school issues, the parents, and the law enforcement or the government issues that all the kids are having to manage. How they deal with their parents is very interesting. I think that it might be a little different for some of them, like the boy who's got the military dad and the activist mom. I think his interactions with his parents would probably be a little bit different.
Yes.
From knowing young men dealing with military families growing up my whole life.
Well, and her interactions too, because of what she's done. Her history of being an activist and being with civil rights and stuff like that.
And that's got to be. Well, and then how does that happen? And how is it not a tenuous relationship between the two of them based on his perspective and her perspective on things?
It's definitely tenuous between the husband and wife.
Yeah.
You can feel it. It's palpable. He's like, hey, honey, you messing around. You getting in trouble. We're in a town full of white people. It's like, what are you doing? Going to the police station now. You go mess around and get somebody hurt, whatever. So you feel that too, but man, it's rocking, dude. I'm loving it, and it's got some good actors and good cast, and it's
the kids are great, the adults are great. It's engaging. It's going to capture your attention, and if you have any interest in that mythology or the storyline at all, it's way better than anything Stranger Things is going to come up with. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and also the parallels between Stranger Things. Stranger Things will not kill main characters. Yeah. They'll do everything they can. I mean, hell, they even saved what's-her-name, where her body literally was getting twisted and broken and like shin snapping, and yet somehow she's in the hospital making a full recovery. I mean, it's they are not going to kill off main characters. We've seen that. We know that. This show, it's not afraid to bring you in and get you to know somebody, and then literally that person is no longer with us. It's like, hey, this is how this shit goes.
Well, and that's kicked off by the first episode, because you get to know some characters there that you're like, oh, this is going to be a great dynamic between these people, and then all of a sudden they're gone.
Yeah. I mean, it is.
I mean, the only one that we are positive that lives through it is the Dick Halloran character.
Yes. Right. And
unless they kill him off and the major takes his name, but whatever. There was one point in the 4th episode that I was particularly thinking about today, because I thought that something completely different was going to happen. And they fooled me, because the last 15 years have trained me, and that's something we're going to talk about next, based off of storytelling and the way that they've been telling stories for the last 15 years has set a thought process in motion. And so you can predict a lot of these things happening. And so when the theater owner is finally going to reveal part of his secret to another person, the person he's revealing it to is going to protect him no matter what, and she's said that, I was expecting a very different answer than what he gave.
Okay. Yeah, I knew it. I think I knew it. I think I knew when he said that, what he was doing that night, why he wasn't actually at home.
Yeah,
I was
no.
like, uh-huh.
Well, no, that half of it I agree with.
Okay.
The other portion of it,
Oh, okay.
I didn't think was going to happen. And if you know, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
If you've seen the episode, I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but there's okay, yes, it's obvious that he did this,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I thought it would be different
Yeah.
based on the last 15 years of movie stuff that's been happening.
Totally understand that. Chimera, if I am in fact pronouncing it right, I do see the backwards 3, but I love it. We're talking about it. Welcome to Derry. Just kind of went through Running Man and a little bit touch up on Landman, and then it. Welcome to Derry, and really, ultimately, my friend, it's really dig it. Hell yeah. Kind of time to jump in. I want to jump into this because I brought this up on Sunday night. We'll finish up with this. I brought up the fact that I think there are basic tenets that are the reasons movies are not what they were of yesteryear. Why we have so many quote unquote classics that we look at, that we revere, that we talk about all the time, and then there's 4 things, and I'll bring these up to you, and I want to get your opinion on it. But I think a lot of the issues that we have, because not only do we have reboots and remakes, right? It's sequels and intertwequels and threequels and all that shit. And there's the originality has been lost because they're very risk averse. But I think the writing has been terrible for the last 15 to 20 years.
Yep.
I think part of it is that now movies and shows are made and there's so much useless dialogue and there's characters just telling you how they feel. I think the biggest problem with that is that I think a lot of these movies are being made knowing that people are going to have it on a second screen.
Yep.
I think that they know people don't pay attention. I think that they think you're going to be doing something and having it on your phone off to the side or on your second monitor, or you're streaming it, but you're looking through your phone. And so characters they say too much unnecessary dialogue, and it's literally just shit that could be shown instead of said.
Yep.
I think actors, I just don't think we have not only bankable actors, but I think that we don't have charismatic actors that people can really cling to, that they will go see a movie for. We also know the problem of social media for actors has turned a lot of people off from even considering certain actors, period. They've just cut them off. Okay? So writing, I think actors, where's all the great, amazing directors out there? The innovative directors. Right. There are a couple. There are a few. Where are all the great directors? Where's the great artists, the works of art in the last 50 years? The great novels of the last 30 to 50 years? You know, where are these great artists and directors? Because they're just not out there.
Yeah.
And then I think the way movies are marketed now, the way that trailers are made now, the way that the trades constantly use the same phrases to tell you this movie is a triumph, a return to form. It's the best Predator movie ever. I'm not saying those things haven't been used before, but I think the way that movies are marketed to us now, they're not appealing. The posters aren't appealing. So those are just 4 basic cornerstones to me as to why we've just gotten not very good filmmaking in the last 2 decades.
Right. Yep. You know, and you go into it and, you know, art has been commoditized. Where are all the great screenwriters? You know, you look at all this and it's simply come down to a numbers game. They want to spend so much on CGI, they want to spend so much on actor salaries that they skimp on everything else, right? They skimp on the CGI until after it's been released, and then they'll fix it later. You'll fix it later. You'll fix it later. Well, you can't fix the writing later. So it needs to start with that, and then they're not paying anybody because, according to Hollywood, you have to have a writer's room of 12 people, and they all have to be of different ethnicities and different backgrounds and different sexual orientations so that you can write the perfect script that appeals to everyone and offends no one. And that corporate homogeny has ruined storytelling because you can never tell a true story. And you can look at Beau DeMayo and what Beau DeMayo did in the Star Trek writing room and why he got fired from Paramount, because he was telling a true-to-life story about being a black man and almost being lynched. And the words and language that he used were just offensive to the other writers in the room. And so they reported him to HR and they got his ass fired from Star Trek because he was a black man telling a story about being lynched or almost lynched in his lifetime and telling a real life experience about and using the language of the parlance of his time, right? And them being offended by him using that language. And it's like, he's a black man who went through this and he's telling a story, and now you're condemning him for it. Okay. So now you're silencing speech, right?
Well,
and then you're taking away ideas from the consciousness that you're trying to write a story about. And you're taking away from that story by kicking someone out because they offended you because of the language that they used. And it was not in context, or it was not directed towards anyone in that room. And it's funny to me that just the mere presence of certain things is so offensive to people that they just, I can't deal with this. And they walk off, and they're so timid or placid or weak that they can't handle any kind of confrontation before they melt and they wither away, or they go behind people's backs to complain about stuff. You can't create art in that way. Art is created through strife, through confusion, through frustration, through emotion, through love, through compassion, through all of these emotions that we choose to express to one another. And if we can't express those emotions, then there is no art. And corporate homogeny has taken away the passion, the emotion from everything that's being produced, and is producing homogenized bullshit. And that's why we're getting this dumbed down storytelling that is so generic, it doesn't connect with anyone. And that's why people can't connect to it.
Well, and I think there's some good comments in here too. Like Sabir talking about, if you look through the 70s and into the 90s, even just let's say television, for instance, very little serialized shows that are consistently good in story quality and arcs. And I think, we've talked about it. Yeah. Part of that is you don't have 24 episodes a season to fully kind of dive in and tell like full arcs, or have several mini arcs throughout a season of a show. Now it's 8 episodes, it's 6 episodes, 10 if you're lucky.
If you're lucky, yeah.
And they cost millions and millions of dollars to make each episode.
Right. Yeah, that's another problem.
But so you're getting fewer episodes. You're getting also, it's hard to write when you don't account for commercial breaks.
Yeah.
And a lot of the TV we got was written around those breaks, which created natural cliffhangers. It created natural tension. It created like natural pacing.
Yes.
Of the show, so that it worked for decades. We mentioned that as well. It's worked for decades.
One of the big problems of the TV shows in the 80s is that very few of them had through lines. Right? They were literally serialized storytelling. So they would tell one story every week, and it would begin and end, right? And so anybody could come in at any point. And that's the good part about it. The bad part about it is some of the most endearing and long-lasting television shows that have been on the air had a through line. So while there may have been serialized storytelling, there is an underlying through line that went through every story and it went through the entire season of that television show to tell an entire arc, a character arc that took place. Now, the shows that didn't have that, they don't stand the test of time because they are unchanging. The characters don't change. They don't evolve. They don't ever do anything different than they did on the first episode from the last episode. And those shows generally don't last because people are invested in the growth. You look at, in my opinion, one of the best TV series combination of things that happened in the 1990s was Buffy and Angel. Buffy the Vampire Slayer and the spinoff of Angel, because each one of those shows had character development and growth that happened almost every episode. And the characters did change and they grew and they brought new language into the zeitgeist of the world that we lived in. And they told stories that were human, even though they were fighting demons and vampires and everything else. They told these stories and they were relatable and they were of the time, and they may not apply as well today. I don't know, but I still think it's really good storytelling.
I gotta say though, because you kind of hit on something there. Yeah. So look, whether it was Star Trek, whether it was Buffy, whether it was an episode of a sitcom, it could be whatever. Usually though, those stories that were told, they're human stories and they're relatable. And a lot of times they had a message in it, but it was a message that everyone could relate to. It didn't matter if you were black, white, Hispanic. It didn't matter if you were gay or straight, male, female. It didn't really matter. It was usually you had a human story wrapped up in a sitcom, an episode of Family Ties. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like it could be an episode of Night Court, right?
Yeah.
As goofy as it is, it could be an episode of Buffy. It could be Star Trek, which, Next Generation had great writing on it, but they were relatable human stories that everyone could dig into.
Right.
And I think, yes, that is something that's missing extremely, just so much so now. And I think too, it's like when you find out the amount of money that's spent on some of these TV series,
makes you sick.
And it's supposed to be prestige television, right? And not only is the writing subpar, the acting is subpar, the pacing is terrible, the way they edit and end episodes and begin new episodes and just everything about it, it's like, where does the money go?
Right.
It is a shell game. It seems like it's easy to believe that. But yeah, it's most of your shows that we really truly remember that are just, real bangers are the ones that everyone is able to relate to. I mean, you could watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and you could relate to something that's happening in that episode about liking a girl who treats you like crap, or a relative who comes to visit the town, an uncle, and he's the black sheep of the family, and he's turned over a new leaf, and then you find out that that's not true, and he disappoints you as a family member. So many things like that everyone could relate to. And now, not only I feel like you said, and somebody said in the chat about being commoditized, but everything's been broken down into tribes now. Yeah. Do we still get some shows like It or other things that are, yes, but it feels like everything's so tribal that, this show has to be for this segment of people. And it has to be written so as it doesn't offend this set of people or that set of people. You can't get into this show because it's not for you, because you're not that color, or it's, if you don't see yourself on the screen, you can't get in this show. There must be something wrong with it, right? It's and I think everything's just been so nailed down. It's like we need more, not generic, but we need more really great written shows that are targeted for everyone. And I think it's interesting, we have so much crap being made on streaming and no one's watching it. And they're targeting every possible demographic they can target.
Right.
And there's just not enough people to support all these micro genre shows, you know?
Yep.
But when it comes to movies in particular, and everybody's put some great stuff like Remington Steele, you know, Walking Dead, obviously, you know, Buffy, like you said, you know,
Night Court's one of my
OG
favorites. I love Night Court.
The original Night Court,
yeah,
hands down, has some of the most memorable characters, like every great sitcom does. God knows the ones that are out right now, people couldn't tell you. They don't remember, don't give a crap about a character or two across 3 different networks, right? But you sure remember those old ones because the characters were written and they were relatable.
Yep.
Just a show like Night Court, for instance. You know, you take away the position that they held, right? Everybody knew the womanizer. Everybody knew the jokey guy who likes to do card tricks and magic tricks and shit. You know, everybody worked with the hot chick. Everybody's had a hot chick at work they wanted to get together with.
And then you've got the uptight chick, right?
Yes. And then you have the aloof, goofy dude, you know, like Richard Mall, you know, Bull. You know, or you have the I don't give a shit character like, you know, what was it, Selma?
The female bailiffs. I mean, you had Selma, Flo, and Roz.
Yeah, Roz. Yes.
Take charge women who didn't give a flip about anybody else. They were going to do their job no matter what.
And that's just that show, right?
Right.
So that's
and when you've got Mac, the guy who's behind the scenes doing all the hard work, making sure that everybody can get their stuff done too. Right.
So yeah, I mean, just that one alone, but so that's why we remember those shows. Now, when it comes to movies, I looked at a list the other night, Sunday night, and you know, remakes, reboots, over and over. It's the same stuff, right? There's the creativity is just dead. And then you couple that with the fact that there's just no Cruises and Clooney's and Kilmers and McConaughey's and like whatever you want to say, right? But you just take a bunch of Burt Reynolds and whomever you want to name, including all your female actresses. They're just not out there. They're just not out there.
Yeah.
And the talent level is not out there. And maybe it's the people writing for them. I'm sure a lot of it has to do with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's no bankable stars out there. And the ones that are getting to be 65 and 70 years old.
You know, and this is where I'm looking to who's coming up. And the only person who ever comes to mind when I'm thinking about up and coming people is Timothée Chalamet. And he's kind of hit right now, and he can do a lot of good. He's done a lot of good stuff. And he can act, and he can be thrown in there, and he can do stuff, and he's transformative. He can be if he wants to be. So there's some hope, but not a lot of hope because he's the only one that I can think of.
Yeah, dude. It's just, I guess, and I can get into his stuff. He is good, but you know, it's totally missing, and maybe. We've talked about it. That's the fact that we know too much about these movie stars.
Yeah.
Late night television talk shows used to be a place you got to know them, and you'd stay up so you could catch an actress who came out in a gown or some kind of sexy outfit, you know, and was fun and revealed a little something about themselves. And now we know too much.
Yeah.
We know way too much now. It's really a shame.
You know what late night shows I always liked the best?
Fire away.
Arsenio Hall, because he was the one.
Arsenio used to have Prince on all the time, and I loved that shit.
He was one of the only guys that could get people to actually like open up and reveal stuff about themselves. And then you had Graham Norton for a hot minute there. For a while, he was doing incredible stuff over in the BBC in the UK, getting people to do stuff that they would never do on a regular interview circuit. And those people were truly incredible interviewers Graham's gone off the deep end now, so he's off somewhere else.
Yeah.
But Arsenio, and while he had his show, he was the one that I always wanted to watch.
Arsenio was fun. He was different,
Yeah.
obviously, right? And
Dog
just
pound.
yeah. But I truly enjoyed Letterman as a kid because he seemed like it was like, okay, he's later night than late night, right? He's late night kind of deal
Right,
in my
yeah.
eyes, but he was just his brand of humor. And then as I got older, Craig Ferguson used to crush me. Craig Ferguson he flirted with every chick that came
Yeah.
on that show.
No,
And it
yeah.
was it was like, hey, he's just getting away with it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right.
but yeah, Austin Butler, right, Kamira, that's
Yeah.
Austin Butler, I think, is very good. I think some people still see him as Elvis, and I think it maybe for some people it's hard to get that out of their head, but I think he is a good actor. Yeah, Tom Snyder, Stu, was a good one that had people on. And I do remember Ultimate Warrior being on Arsenio.
Yeah.
I do remember that. But yeah, I just feel like, where are the great directors, right? Like even the ones we've gotten lately have been kind of in jail, right? There's not there's 40% less movies being made in Hollywood or things being written, productions being made. That means less work for directors, talented people to get known, and then the actors, and then the writing has been absolutely horrific. I don't care what anybody says. Writing has been horrible
Yeah.
because of this thing of you can't say that, you can't say this
Yeah.
character can't be written this way. The Academy has all their list of all their rules about what you have to do to be eligible for an award.
Right.
We've taken the creativity out of it and we've tried to turn it into a list of check boxes, and it takes it from a meritocracy and puts it into a thing that stifles creativity and forces you to hire people who aren't qualified for the job, regardless of what that job is, right? And so yeah, and yes, the mystery is gone, Stu. Yeah, it really is, and it's a shame. And I think streaming has definitely changed the game, and I just don't know if you could put the toothpaste back in the tube. We'll see.
That's the problem with deconstruction. Like I've said before,
Yeah,
every time you deconstruct something, it's dead. And
Yeah.
and it limps along and still exists, but it's a walking corpse of what it used to be. And we've deconstructed superhero films, we've deconstructed westerns, we've deconstructed most art forms at this point, and so the art that we have left is a pale comparison.
yeah. I'm rooting for movie theaters. I'm rooting for it. Look, we've all grown up.
I think it's going the way of the theater.
It
Right.
could be a very
Who-
niche experience.
Who goes to the theater anymore?
Unless you're a true lover of that art form.
Yep.
You're right. It's, if I'm at work, I talk to a lot of people. I'd be hard pressed to find people who have season tickets to the
Yeah.
Tennessee Performing Arts Theater, or Center. So,
I think
yeah.
I think cinematic movies are headed that way, and things are going to be commoditized differently. They will always exist, but they are going to be different moving forward.
Yeah, we'll see. I just every time I go back and watch an original Predator, or I go back and watch a Rambo, even, or I go back and watch a Smokey and the Bandit, or I go back and watch a Shawshank Redemption, or I go back and watch a movie, even the Never Ending Story, for that matter. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
It's like, where is this stuff? And it's just not present right now. And
Well,
it's a damn shame.
And you think of the past 140 years of cinema that exists, and that may be the best of it.
You're right. You're right.
And moving forward, we're not going to get anything as good, but we're going to get things that move people in different ways.
You think it's going to be AI like Garaf mentions here?
Yeah,
AI
I mean,
tools are going to write better stories than humans?
I don't think they'll ever write better stories than humans because I think all of the greatest stories have already been written. I haven't seen
I
this.
get that.
I haven't seen this in a very long time, but I watched the movie Outlander the other night. Did you ever watch that one, Vin Caviezel, or did you ever see that one?
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's so long ago, I had forgotten most about it, but it is Beowulf, but it's sci-fi Beowulf, right? Because it takes place in the past.
Yeah.
But it's about a guy who travels here from space and brings a monster with him. And you go through the whole story, and it is the story of Grendel and Beowulf.
It's the guy that did, he played Jesus in Passion of the Christ, right?
Right, yeah, Vin Caviezel. Yeah.
Or Jim
Caviezel, yeah.
Yeah.
And he has totally shifted his acting opportunities to be very faith-based at this point. Right. But at the same time, this was a movie he did and it was probably a stupid paycheck for him or whatever. But it's a good movie and it's a good interpretation of Beowulf. But it's still Beowulf. And what is Beowulf? It is the first written story that humanity has ever recorded.
Yeah. I remember my English,
and we're still telling it.
English or history teacher telling me that in high school.
Yeah, and you go back and you think about.
Do remember
that Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I mean, there have been over 900 interpretations of Frankenstein, of Mary Shelley's book that she wrote as the first science fiction novel that was ever written, and she wrote it in the early 1800s, in the 1816, something like that. So we're talking about way back before Jules Verne, right? Before science fiction became a regular staple of humanity's writing. She wrote this science fiction story about humanity, and we've made 900 different cinematic interpretations of it up to this point, and we're getting another one next year with Christian Bale as the monster.
You're right. Now, one thing I'll say about it, and as we finish up, look. Yes, it is I guess science fiction / whatever you want to call that story, but it's a story about humanity.
It is,
and whether you want to frame
all science fiction
it's got multiple messages you could take away from it, but it's relatable because at the end of the day, when you think back on it after what you've just seen or what you've just read, that is what it is, and you can relate to it. It's and look. I think not just the kids chasing paychecks, right? I think a lot of it comes down to even people coming up now is that I don't think people are getting into acting the way they used to because I think through social media and other means to do it, they're chasing those avenues as well instead of your traditional avenues that you used to have to go through if you wanted to get to those places. You can now do it from the comfort of your own home with a $100 webcam and a microphone. It is as has been shown. So look, man, the last thing I want to say before we get out of here, as far as pertaining to anything pop culture, is watch Frankenstein. It's on Netflix. It's fan-freaking-tastic. Definitely take the time out to watch it, regardless if you've seen 10 of them. It is really freaking good.
Yeah. I mean, that movie's good. Go watch Landman. Go watch Welcome to Derry. These are things that are good properties, and that's what we're here to talk about. Is we want to talk about the good stuff. It's why that I don't get out to see some of that other stuff because I don't necessarily want to talk about it because I know how bad it's going to be, and I'm not that interested in it. But when things come along and it's Penguin or it's House of the Dragon, you know, so far, or whatever, it's we may have issues with it, it may fall apart, but we still want to talk about it. Gilgamesh, oldest story written. You're right. But Beowulf is also one of it's one of those stories that's ingrained through humanity.
Yeah, It's and Chimera, yeah, and I just posted, but I use that Google VO3, and I've made little 8-second videos using AI, and some of them are really freaking cool. Like some are actually really fun, really cool, and they've been fun to do. But yeah, man. So look, everybody can find you at Mamu's Action Figure Blog on Instagram to check out your toy photography, which is always fantastic. I encourage everybody to do that. Most of you here know that already, but spread the word. Tell a friend. Call a buddy. Tell a friend. It really is. Matthew's just really freaking talented at it, and so yeah, man. Send anybody that way, 100%. And then shoot, I don't know. I've got. I guess Sunday night will be my next night to jump online and do another Unfiltered next on Sunday night. So I'll be posting about that and figure out what I feel like talking about this upcoming Sunday. But we'll be back next Tuesday. See if there's any other new releases. Skim over some more Welcome to Derry. Yeah, man, that's kind of the wrap up, my friends. Anything else you want to add, or is that pretty much it? I know it's time to get you you headed that way.
I'm good. You're going to see a bunch of new stuff coming. I'm thinking about doing some more collabs with some people with some Conan stuff, but always every week on Saturdays we've got Savage Crucible. On Wednesdays and Sundays I've got G.I. Joe. In between I've got all whatever suits my fancy. But I'm going to be doing some sci-fi stuff with these guys that I just got here for sure. So there's going to be some Robo-Skull stuff coming soon, I'm sure.
Word. Well, cool, man. Well, look, thanks everybody for joining us, and anybody new, love to have you back. Definitely appreciate the discussion. Feel free to keep us posted and vice versa. Check out whatever we got going on, man. We'd love to have you. You guys are freaking awesome, and I guess we're going to boogie out of here, man. Matthew, I'll see you later. Thanks, y'all.